We've got I'm going to try to shove 3 hours worth of content in 2 hours. This is an open forum, so if you guys have any questions on anything, if I talk about something and your eyes go sideways, I'm going to probably call on you. So, and if you have any questions, even if they're just difference of opinion, I'm okay with that. I'm totally good with that, because that's exactly what this is about. What I realized in real estate is that when I first started, I watched a whole bunch of people do really, really well in real estate, and then I realized there's so many different ways to get to the mountaintop to sell real estate. The view is always the same, but it's 1,000 different ways to get there. So there's no right or wrong answer, there's no right or wrong way, but I'm going to show you a way that worked for me that I see a lot of people failing at, and I think this might be something that it's good for you guys to see, because as you guys know, there's a lot of my agents here as well, we work heavily on call to actions, unique selling propositions, really perfecting your marketing and being relevant to the consumer. And I think that's where we fall down sometimes, because we just think that if we just say, I'm a real estate agent, that all these people should just flock to us. So, and unfortunately that doesn't happen. They kind of repel from us. So anyway, okay. So let me just kind of walk through this real quick. This class was designed to help agents understand how to become more relevant to the consumers and sellers, buyers and sellers, through direct response marketing offers, USP branding, and how to articulate your differences as the next agent to the next, right? So I'm going to ask you guys a question that you probably won't be able to answer. Some of you guys will. Some of you guys do a really good job, by the way. I'm just saying, I look, and I get a lot of marketing pieces because I'm a bit of a stalker that way. But I do that because I like to be able to see what you guys are doing. And I had one guy, last time I did this, I don't know if it was in the class you were in, but he says, man, why are you doing this? What's in it for you? I'm like, you know what? What's in it for me is I see you guys marketing, and it breaks my heart to see that you're spending money on stuff that doesn't work. Actually, I think I told him I think his marketing sucked, but I don't think you appreciated that. But my opinion was, hey, I know you're spending money, you're trying to get people to raise your hand and identify that you want to buy, they want to buy and sell, you're just not doing it in the way that a consumer looks at it. So one thing I was really good at back in the car business, I spent 20 years in the car business, and that's kind of where I started. I was in college at University of Michigan and started selling cars, got divorced, and said, well, forget college, I'll just sell cars. I loved it. But what I realized is I became a really good student of human nature. If you guys have has anybody ever taken a psychology class? Okay, tell me yes or no, has this ever helped you in real estate? It is amazing how that is. I mean, it's so relevant in our world. Okay, I got to put my this hat on today, and then, 10 minutes later, I got a bipolar person, I got to put this hat on, right? So you're kind of like their counselor. So anyway, I was able to really be a good student of human nature and understand the consumer standpoint. So what I'm going to show you today is kind of an insight from a consumer standpoint and how they look at you when you guys send out your marketing pieces. And when I talk about marketing pieces, it could be online, offline, it doesn't really matter. And I just want you guys to see it from that view, because as we get into real estate, we get really myopic when we look around and go, well, you know, Frank over here is killing it in real estate, I'm going to do what Frank does. Well, Frank does something really well because it's Frank, right? It's personal to him, and it fits his personality. And so I started in real estate in 2006. I got married in 2006. Where'd my wife? Oh, she left. She knew I was going to call her out. She's like, you're not doing that. So I got married in 2006, January. I was in the car business for 20 years. I got licensed in 2006, January 2006, got my license. I sat down in front of my computer and I said, okay, I need a buyer and a seller. I got a computer. What do I do? Like, I have no clue. Like, I can call all my friends. I can call my past clients. I can call the people I sold cars to. It didn't excite me. So in March of 2006, we got married. In May of 2006, we went through a tragedy. And this is just kind of something that everybody goes through, right? Everybody goes through life tragedies and situations, right? My wife's sister, my sister-in-law, was murdered in her house here in Greyhawk, Mother's Day of 2006. Shot 6 times with a .45 caliber pistol, close range. My life changed that day. I had a 12-year-old boy that I had to raise. I had a business that I had to sell, and I had a house I had to sell. So from that day forward, I'm like, all right, well, here we go. So you just put your nose down, you grind, and you just chug through it, and you look up once in a while, and you kind of go, oh, I'm making headway. So what I realized is I did a good job in 2006 in the car business, or in real estate. 2007, I had a great year. 2008, I'm literally going back in the car business. The market crashes, I have no business, I have no steady stream of income coming in. I don't have enough people sitting in front of me on a daily basis that want to buy and sell real estate. So at that point, I'm like, I'm a good agent. I know what I'm doing. How do I get enough people sitting in front of me on a daily basis that want to buy and sell real estate? And so I went to this Proctor conference, and this, by the way, has nothing to do with Craig Proctor. This is what I've learned from him, and I'm doing it my own way. But and I've got a couple guys here from the Proctor system, so thanks for coming down. We got Utah, Nevada, awesome, good guys. Anyway, so I realized that, God, if I can just get enough of these people sitting in front of me, I can do a really good job of closing them, because I'm fairly personable, not afraid to talk. I'm a high I personality, can you tell? So what I realized when I went to this conference, it was like a light switch to me. I was like, oh my God, this is what I need. And it fit me personally. It fit my personality. It fit what I wanted. I wasn't big into door knocking, cold calling, although one of the panelists you're gonna see today does a lot of that, and she kills it. So that's why I wanted her up here, because I thought it'd be great to have you guys see and hear what she does on a daily basis. So anyway, so that's my story. So I got into real estate, got it, almost went out of it because I couldn't succeed, went into a coaching program, took off from there, and since then we opened up our brokerage. I did what everybody does, right? We look at our P&L and go, what do I pay? What do I get? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go open up my own brokerage and save money. I'm like, I tripled what I spent. I'm like, let's make sure that was a good idea. So anyway, so that's where we're at now. This is what you're gonna see in today's class. You're gonna see brand positioning. First off, has anybody ever seen me do this presentation? Yes. Okay, so 2 or 3. So good, because I've changed this up a little bit. What you're going to see is some really good brand positioning marketing. And when I say brand positioning, I mean, how do you position yourself in a way that you are the go-to agent in your marketplace? And so I know it's hard because we're in this sea of commoditization services, right? I just looked, it was 59,000 licensed agents in the Valley. Now, of which, as you guys see in your book, I think only 4,600 actually sell more than 12 houses a year. So chances are good we're going to be successful. Okay, ways to become relevant. Why it's important to create a stick system. Does anybody know what a stick system is? Am I just saying this weird? Okay. A stick system is somebody who, like you get a lead, and when I say leads, I'm going to talk about leads, guys. I'm going to talk about anything that comes into your funnel. Leads to me are online, offline. My mom calls her friend and says she's got to use me. I meet somebody at Starbucks because they see that I'm a realtor. I got my badge or my computer open working on listings. It doesn't matter how I get it. I go to the bathroom, meet somebody here, whatever, right? It happens. So that's a lead. A lead is a lead is a lead. So the whole idea behind that is I have to get them sticky with me versus sticky with somebody else. Because my thought and the truth of the matter is, if they're talking to me, they're probably talking to other agents. So why would they use me? And so anyway, we're going to get to that. So we're also going to talk about how to transition from selling real estate to become a marketer of solutions to people who want to buy and sell real estate. When I was in the car business, God, am I having a stroke? When I was in the car business, I used to hate telling people that I was in the car business because I didn't want to be a car salesman, right? I didn't want to be the fat, wide-tied, plaid jacket guy. That's horrible. So I used to call those guys used to stand on the corner. I call it smoking, joking, and coking. All they do is drink Coke, smoke, and tell jokes about, and all of a sudden a car pulls up. You guys have seen this, right? You guys have experienced this. You pull up, and all of a sudden they're just like bees on honey, right? So yeah, that was not me. So anyway, I used to tell people that I was in corporate automotive transportation sales. Sounds pretty good, right? I thought it was pretty good. I was like, yeah, why not? Well, it works. So when I got in real estate, I realized it's not that much different. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just there's so many of us, and we have to articulate our differences. We have to be unique and compelling to offer things to clients that other people aren't doing, or we have to articulate our process, right? Real estate is an A to Z. We're in this commodity service. We all do things the same from A to Z. What proprietary pieces of that process, there's a lot of P's, do I do differently than other agents do, or do I do better? And that's what we're going to talk about. That's how you can identify what your unique selling proposition is. It's not the same for everybody. So we'll talk more about that. All right, so most agents confuse advertising and marketing. Who understands the difference between advertising and marketing? Who does a really good job advertising? I know Jan does. Like there's a couple companies that do a really, really good job of advertising. That's one of them. And then there's another one. So those are the two that I feel that are really, really good at advertising. When it comes to marketing refers to the process of preparing your product for the marketplace. It involves understanding who your potential customers are, and ladies and gentlemen, what they want to get from your product and service. That is marketing. If you guys can become a marketer of solutions to people looking to buy and sell real estate, you guys will have a different outlook on how you actually market your homes.
Would Geico be a marketing company better than advertising? Like, their approach is so different.
Their approach is different. They actually lean into the marketing, actually, yeah. Geico was just playing all their old commercials. I'm like, God, I love that. I'm sitting on my phone doing something and I'm reciting, you know, the camel walking through the office. Yeah, it's awesome. All right, so let's jump into this. I know I'm going to try to go a little fast. If you guys have any questions, thanks, bro. If you guys have any questions at all, just raise your hand or whatever. Just throw it out there. I'm okay with that. So what I've learned in my short time in real estate, but I've spent over $325,000, I don't know if my wife knows that, but on coaching and training and learning different systems, because I've been a part of this program for so long, is that I've learned that effective marketing talks to and about your prospects. It gives them real benefits. It gives them a non-threatening way to get more information, so it lowers the threshold. I'm going to show you some really good marketing pieces that lower the threshold to get a buyer or seller to give up that one thing that they don't want to give up. What's that one thing that they do not ever want to give up? Their anonymity. Absolutely. Their name and information. Because what happens is it's scary, so we want to lower that threshold. And it gives them a really compelling reason to call you, and it makes you more relevant in their eyes. And I'm going to show you some examples of that. My agents are probably tired of hearing me say this, but there's really only one way to grow your business. If you think about it, the only way to grow your business is to have an overflow of it. If you don't have an overflow of business, you can't grow it. There's three ways to do it, right? I can increase the number of transactions if I'm an agent, so I can go from selling 10 houses to 20 houses. I can increase the commission dollars on those transactions, and this is where it gets fun for me, and I know, Joe, this is also fun for you. I can go from selling $250,000 houses to $400,000 houses, right? That increases the commission. Or I can go from taking a 6% listing to a 7% listing. I can go from taking a 2.5% co-broke to a 3.5% co-broke. Again, I'm not talking about standards. I'm not talking about anything like that at all. I'm just saying keep your mind open when it comes to commission. People are so closed off and so afraid of talking about commission because of the Sherman Antitrust Act, right? You can't talk about that, you can't collude, you can't do that stuff. But my point is that if you can build a really good business and you can build a really valuable real estate business, you can dictate your own commission. Doesn't matter what the customary or what is normal, there's none of that, right? It's up to you. Each of you individually should be able to negotiate, set, and collect your own commission. That's just my personal opinion. Some people have are completely opposed on either end of that. That's up to you. But I just want to let you know that that is something that you guys as agents need to understand, that it's your job to set, collect, and negotiate your own commission. Okay. Okay, number three is, how do I get more people to come back to me and refer me business and actually repeat with me as their clients, right, or as their agents? So that's my three ways to grow my business. That's the only three ways that I know of that I can actually grow it. And most of us really work hard at producing more business, like more transactions, but we don't work on, and I'm going to ask this question to the class here, we don't work on things that actually work, that are actually paying the bills. How many would you, so show of hands, how many of you guys get most of your business from referrals? I'm going to say it's, yeah, so it's a majority. Keep those hands up for a second. For all your business that you guys get for referrals, keep your hands up if you spend more than 10% of your marketing budget on referral marketing. Okay, more than I thought, which is good, because that's intentful, right? You look at it and you say, okay, here's my last 5 deals. Open house, Zillow, referral, past client, right? And then you look at what you spend, and it's Zillow, Commissions Inc., marketing, all these things that don't tie into what you're getting your business on. So anyway, I think if you're more purposeful on understanding where your business comes from, you'll actually do a better job of getting more of that business. And so think about that too when you're looking at your marketing. And I hope you guys do a budget. I'll show you a really nice one that I've done, very basic. I'm spreadsheet simple. I'm not, I never graduated from college. I'm still just a high school grad, so I keep things really simple. Okay, let's jump into some marketing. So here's the thing that I think is important to understand. The single greatest skill that you guys can master this year is the ability to generate leads and convert your closer and master your closer in conversion strategies. And when I say leads, again, I mean open house, referrals. Anybody you meet is a lead, right? There's prospects, there's leads. Prospect is anybody, but a lead is somebody who's identified or has raised their hand somehow, raised their hand to identify that they want to buy and sell. This is where this comes in. This is where the marketing piece, and this is where the fun comes in for you guys, because a lot of you guys are like, okay, this is where I really fall down. Like, I don't have a steady flow of business. I was talking to somebody last week and I said, look, you're relying on this one pillar of business. If this one pillar of business goes away, you are no different than me back in 2008 when I had no business. Because it is shifting. The market is shifting, good or bad or indifferent. I'm not going to talk about that today necessarily, but I'll leave that up to the geniuses. But what I do know is that if you don't have more than 3 pillars in your business, you're gonna suffer some, what I call the roller coaster of income. Who has not been on this? I sell 3 houses, I got nothing coming up for the next 4 months. I got 3 houses, I got nothing coming up, right? So we're all on that roller coaster. We're trying to get off that roller coaster. All right, let's look at some marketing. This is where the fun begins. Does anybody know what less branded marketing is? Anybody do any less branded marketing? Okay, I know Ephraim does. So I'm going to show you some less branded marketing. So here's just, now again, keep your mind open. I want to share some things with you. This is an ad that I ran. These are ads that I ran back in 2007, 8, 9 through 12, and I stopped in 2012. We did it again last year, and I got double the results that I did back then. It's amazing to me how many people don't run foreclosure ads. You know why agents are afraid of it? I don't want to deal with foreclosures. You know how many foreclosures I actually sold on this ad? It gets people to raise their hand. And you know what? The one thing about this ad that's really, really good, there's 2 things on it that's really, really good. It doesn't have my fat face on it or my fat phone number on it. That's why it works. Now, you have to be legal, and you've got to have advertorial, and you've got to have your brand and your company name on there, obviously, for the ADRE. But what I'm saying is that if you can put this in a marketing piece or a newspaper, you can put it on anything you want. Facebook. Again, we're also going to talk about message to market match. You're not going to put a newspaper ad in a group of millennials, right? They're not going to read the newspaper. So we're going to talk about that too. But my point is that if this is a really low threshold way to get somebody to respond, then why wouldn't we do this? I sent a video out last week, right? I think I was looking through your guys' marketing pieces, or somebody sent me some marketing pieces. I'm like, oh, you guys are killing me. So all we want to do is put our cell phone number up there. If you put your cell phone number on a marketing piece as big as your name, you will repel everybody. I shouldn't say that. You will repel 99% of most people that want to buy and sell real estate, because that is too scary, right? We'll talk about this in a second. There's a couple analogies I'll talk about. But these are ads that I ran and actually would still run if I was selling, because it's low threshold. It gets people to respond. It goes to a landing page. Yes, 800 numbers work. Believe it or not, they actually do work. Now you have to hit the market, and it's got to be consistent, but the message has to be really, really good. You guys can see this. It's kind of hard to see, but this was February 14th of last week. So this is one of my guys that I help over in Toronto, and I'm like, why are you not doing less branded ads? Like, do 11 inspection traps or do something. And so he creates this advertorial. It's already built, but it's an advertorial that talks about this special report that just came out. Hey, there's industry experts. According to industry experts, there are over 33 physical problems that will come under scrutiny during a home inspection. It goes on to talk about this report, and at the end, it says to help home sellers deal with this issue before their homes are listed, a free report entitled 11 Things You Need to Know to Pass Your Home Inspection has been compiled, which explains the issues involved. And then you can call an 800 number to request your report. This is what he sent me. He goes, hey Jay, I ran the editorial inspection, got inspection 1. What does it say? Sorry guys. Oh, the inspection 1, I got over 20 leads, few report number 1, and many good future ones. Unbelievable. I feel like I'm moron all these years not doing this. So we got 20 leads from that phone number. That's pretty good. Now, and when he says report number 1, what we do is we identify report number 1 being less than 3 months, report number 2 being over 3 months if they're looking to sell their home. So, and what I like about this is it funnels people down. If you're not thinking about selling your home, would you respond to this? No. Most likely not. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, the vehicle delivery, the message to market match medium. Yep, so this obviously is a newspaper. This newspaper, he figured out that hits a demographic that would actually read the newspaper and respond to an 800 number. So you have to figure out what that is. So that's a little harder. This is actually easy. It's where do I put it, how do I run it, how often do I run it, do I interchange those? Today what I want to show you is basically that the marketing pieces that you're putting out there don't have a what's in it for me, and that's the super important thing that everything that your marketing should have. What's in it for me as a consumer? If all we're going to do is walk into our marketing and say, I'm the #1 real estate agent in Scottsdale, who cares? Can you sell my home faster for more money in less time? That's what I want to know as a seller. That's what I want to know as a consumer. I don't care what your numbers are. Now, there is a place for that, and I'll show you that a little later on, that you can leverage that, but just blurting it out there because other agents are doing it is not the right answer. So for the first probably, would you say, Michelle, probably 2 or 3 years, I did zero branding. I did all less branded marketing. My first time doing it, I think I had like 750 leads. 1 month, and I was like, what, are you kidding me? This is awesome. And then I'm like, oh my God, I can't follow up with 750 leads. That's crazy. So anyway, it works. I mean, it's different then than it was now because of the way that the market was shifting, but this still works. Any type of marketing you do or any kind of advertising you do without your name and information, obviously it's got to be there legally, like I said, but and when you have that recording on that 800 number, it's got to be there as well. So it's all, you can't deceive the public, but you have to let them know what you're doing and who you are. But my point is that if you have something that doesn't scare them away to respond, you'll get much more people to respond. All right, any questions on that, any thoughts on that? I just want to kind of go over that a little bit just because I know that the less branded marketing doesn't tend to be very popular because I think we all think we have to have our face and our number on there. So, okay. So here was a good example. So we had 150 leads on that 800 number in the last year and a half. And then multiple extensions. We'll talk more about that later on, but just to give you an idea that 800 numbers do work, and it's a great way to get low threshold leads. Now, the problem with low threshold leads is that you do get low threshold leads. It's easier to get people that are just looking. So you have to have a good stick system, and you have to have a good system to be able to weed out the people that are maybe just looking. And your message on your marketing piece will also do that as well. Who does a marketing piece that's find out what your home is worth? Anybody do that? Anybody done that in the past? Find out what your home is worth? Yeah, and we've done it. And so to me as an agent, if somebody raises their hand and says, yes, I want to know what my home is worth, that doesn't mean that they want to sell. It's like me calling my stockbroker and saying, hey, what's my portfolio worth? And he's like, whoa, you want to sell your portfolio? No, I just want to know what it's doing. So what's my value, right? So that's a very low threshold. If we can funnel that down, and I'll show you some good examples of how to do that. If we can funnel that down the message, then you can obviously get higher quality leads or people responding to your marketing. This is kind of the postcards I was talking about. Like thinking of selling your home, find out what your home is worth online, right? Really basic stuff, real low threshold. Find out what homes are selling for in your neighborhood. These are just some examples. Postcards, doesn't matter. Online marketing or Facebook marketing, anything you want to do that's low threshold, doesn't have your face and name on it. Of course, it's all legal. It's got to have all your information on it. And I think now you have to actually have your logo on there too. So these are older. Okay, so here's some landing pages that I think are important. So if I were to say, if I were saying, hey, find out what your home is worth versus want to see what your home's asking price would be. Asking price report on your home, free search and match. I'll talk about those in a second. If I can funnel the message to be able to identify somebody wants to sell their home, like who would respond to a find out what your home's asking price would be in today's market? Probably somebody who's wanting to sell their home, right? So I'm just trying to identify the message to the quality of that person. So I don't necessarily need to get 100 leads to close 2. I'd rather get 20 to close 2. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to identify a better lead or a better prospect because of the message. So these are AVMs. These are all landing pages through that AVM system. Do you guys all use AVMs? I'm always a little nervous about those because they always give either too high or too low. And I've got a good source out there that's pretty good that has been really, really accurate, and I'll share with you guys too. So, how to stay relevant with a buyer? Okay, so here's one of the things that I really am inspired and excited about is that understanding where buyers look at us. So what's the one thing a buyer wants? Some of you guys know this. So in our toolbox, right, as agents, when we talk to a buyer, what is the one thing that they want more than anything? Access to properties. Houses, exactly right, access to properties. So telling telling a buyer that we have access to properties isn't a tool in our toolbox anymore, right? Because they can just go on Zillow, they can find them all they want. They're not proprietary to us. But if you're able to show them homes that they can't access or they don't have access to, then we become more relevant. Right? So if we can tell them, hey, we've got access to coming soon and foreclosures and builder closeouts and for sale by owners and canceled and expireds, and for God's sakes, let's use Top Agent Network. Who's not using that? Does anybody use that? Yes, it is phenomenal. If you guys are not on that yet, you got to jump into that. That is a great network of agent website that will talk about all the coming soon listings, haves, wants, needs. It's a great source to show buyers that you have more homes coming to the market than anybody else. Because as a buyer, that's what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for somebody who has access to information that I don't have. They want to know that you're a negotiator. Here's my point on that. I think we fail really hard on telling people or showing people how we negotiate. It's like it's April 12th, you didn't do your taxes, and you got to pick a tax person. Do you want the really conservative person, or do you want the person just this side of legal? I'm going with that guy, that lady, person, whoever, doesn't matter. I'm like, oh, we're good? I owe nothing, it's legal, run, go. That's what we want, yes. So that's the same thing that they want. We just have to articulate that in a way in our marketing and our presentations to the buyers. Now, a lot of the buyers use you guys because they know you, like you, and trust you. I get it. This is talking about acquisition in a way that you have to either compete, you don't know them, but this is really good for your own past clients and sphere and people who know you, like you, and trust you. Because just being a real estate agent isn't compelling, right? I mean, being a great negotiator, having access to homes that other agents don't have access to, that's compelling. Okay, and representation and expert advice. I like the expert advice better than the representation. Yes, they all want representation. We know they need representation. So when you guys get Zillow leads, do you guys ever get the ones that say, oh, I only want to deal with a listing agent? Right, we get that all the time. So, and what do we do as agents? We go out there and say, yeah, Jim, man, you got to have representation. You got to, I mean, you know, who's going to traverse the contract? I mean, the Binzer and all these other things. That's not what they want to hear. They're using the listing agent because of money. So hit them with it. So Jim and I role played with this quite a bit. And we talked about, okay, so a Zillow lead calls in and says, hey, I want to go look at this house. Are you the listing agent? No. Nope, but I can show it to you. Oh, I just want to deal with the listing agent. Oh, okay, well, why is that? Well, I can save money. Well, what do you mean? Well, I can probably negotiate a better deal because the seller doesn't have to, pay a co-broke commission. By the way, this drives me crazy. That commission belongs to you as a listing agent, right? That has nothing to do with the seller. You can decide what you want to do with it anyway. So I say to the Zillow lead, I say, okay, well, how much do you think you can save? Well, 3%, 4%. I'm like, oh, that's it? Like on average, I can save you about 7.5% because that's my average of getting buyers discounts off the homes. So if I have those numbers and I'm really good at that, I can overturn that really fast because that's what they want. I'm not talking about representation. Eventually I will, but their first thing is the only reason they're going to the listing agent is because of money. So we have to hit them. You just got to present it that way. Anyway, so that's a good example. Expert advice is interesting. I like expert advice. I don't think you need perfect advice. I think you need expert advice. They don't look for perfect advice. Perfect doesn't exist, it's a unicorn. But it's like my stockbroker. If I want to buy Apple stock, do I need to call my stockbroker to see what it's trading at? I just look at my phone, right? Isn't there a ticker on my phone to see what it's trading at? If I want to buy Apple stock, do I need to call my stockbroker and say, hey, based on my situation, is it a long? Do I short it? Like, what do I do with it? Is it something I should buy based on my future goals? Yes, that's expert advice. That's exactly what buyers are looking for from us. I see so many agents regurgitating information, but they don't give advice. Like if you guys look at Facebook, sometimes I'm just like, turn it off, my God. It's information that we think is important, but we're not articulating what the value is. When somebody says, hey, how's the market? Right? You're like, oh, it's good. Well, there's 22,324 homes in the market. If you're looking in that $500,000 to $700,000 range, there's about 200 homes that are selling on an annual basis in that price range in this market. Being specific about your numbers is really, really, really important. Having that knowledge, that's expert advice. If I was going to go out and say, because I love the Cromford Report. You guys all get the Cromford Report? It's phenomenal. But I look at that and I'm like, oh my God. Like I can't just regurgitate that. I don't know what the hell it means. Like I have to go in and decipher what it means and give you my specific advice and my opinion on the market based on the numbers. That's what buyers want. They don't want regurgitated information. Anybody have an example or any thoughts on that? I mean, I think that's really important, right? We have to be able to identify that if you're going to use me as a buyer's agent, that I have expert advice, I'm a strong negotiator, and I hope I have properties and homes that you don't have access to. Then I become more relevant. Mr. Gary.
Think about that scene in Groundhog Day, the movie, where he walks downstairs and she makes some comment about the weather, and then he goes on and on about how there's going to be a system moving in, and she's staring at him, and he's like, "Did you really want to talk about the weather, or were you just being friendly?"
Yeah. Yep, that's exactly right. And I think that's the problem, is that we do that because we don't, as agents, and I remember I did this when I first started too, I wouldn't say certain things because I'm like, oh my God, I got somebody on the hook. I don't want to lose them, right? I don't want to talk about a buyer broker agreement. I don't want to talk about anything. I just want to be able to. And then I got really good and thought, you know what? They're talking to hundreds of other agents in my mind, right? I always thought that, and they probably didn't. But I knew they were talking at least to one or two other people. And so I had to give them information that they didn't have. When you guys are doing open houses the same way, I have a lot of agents who have a tough time with open houses because when they meet with the people, they're like, I meet with people, but I can't convert them. I'm like, well, what are you offering them that other agents are not? Because when I was sitting in open house, I assumed that they would go from this open house to this open house, that see at least 3 or 4. I don't know many people who just go to 1. But I would do a really good job of offering information that other agents probably wouldn't offer. And that's really important. So yeah, good point. All right, how do you become relevant with sellers? What do sellers want? Sellers want buyers. If you guys think about your marketing, and when you're marketing for buyers and sellers, buyers want houses, sellers want buyers. Promote that in your marketing, you will get way more traction than promoting yourself. Because they don't think that they need a real estate agent. Because we're what? We're a needle in a stack of needles. We're just like, oh, I got to pick one? All right, that'll do, right? Unfortunately. So if we can profess and we can show them that we actually have the buyers, which is really important. How many of you guys have a database right now of buyer prospects looking for homes in your database? Okay, so how many of you guys are using that as leverage with a seller or in your marketing? You have to use that. That's what they want. Yeah, a buyer and waiting list. We're going to talk about that in a second. That's really important to be able to say to a seller, why would I list my home with you versus you or somebody else? What are you going to bring to the table? And we're going to talk about that in depth in a second because that's really important. By the way, what system are you using?
For what?
For your buyer database.
Well, I use my CRM.
Okay, what's it? What do you use?
Shebang.
Shebang, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, so Shebang is a really good thing that or a system that Jason Mitchell started with Infusionsoft. And as you guys know, I love Infusionsoft, but having a system to be able to show a seller is really good. We'll talk about that. So that's a good system. Okay, so do you have a marketing strategy? These are the things that sellers want from you guys. Do you have buyers? Do you have a marketing strategy that actually shows me that you know how to get buyers? So I'm gonna say a few things here that might offend some of you guys who do this, but don't take it offensive because it's just something I used to do too. Sellers want to know that you're a marketer, not just somebody who's going to plop it in the MLS and throw a sign in the yard. Here's my thoughts. When you guys go for a listing, how many guys go after expired listings? Yeah. And when you get expired listings, do you ever tell the seller why the home didn't sell? And usually it's, well, you overpriced it, there's no marketing, whatever. I used to go, you know why you didn't sell your house? It's because you didn't find a buyer. They're like, well, thanks, Captain Obvious. Really? You think? No. I'm like, no. The problem is that if you can actually take a house like that, right? So if I have a house that's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or whatever, and expired, if I can historically find the buyer for that house based on historic data, then I might be able to predict who might buy that house, right? So if I can pull the last 5 buyers that bought a house in a neighborhood, usually in a tract home or an area, you understand who the buyer is and you know how to go after them. This is a sample for instance, a unique home that backs up to a street and power lines, right? You got to find that really specific buyer. If you were to do the research and find out who the buyers were who bought a home that backed up to a street and power lines, there's 2 ways to that. Find the buyer through tax records, and then, I'm not going to use stalk, but look at them on Facebook, and find some common denominators about those people. Let's say the last 7 or 8 people who bought a home just like that were from Minnesota, doctors, and they're female. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to create a marketing ad on Facebook that goes after doctors in Minnesota that are female. I mean, It's not a perfect segment, or it's not a perfect situation, but it's a great thing to bring up to sellers because that's what we do. I mean, look, we're going to blanket that marketing everywhere. It's going to go out to 300, 400 websites, of course it is, but if I can be really more strategic in my marketing, I might be able to find that buyer who's willing to pay more for that house. So here's an example. When I was in the car business, I used to, my last stint was over at the Audi store, and I was in charge of ordering all the cars. And it's funny because I look at this up here and I'm like, this looks like my palette when I was ordering cars, because I was really good at picking out colors. I just wanted the funkiest color ever, because I knew that if I could pick out the car, you know, with the orange baseball leather interior with the yellow top and the, you know, blue body, that I would find somebody to pay all the money for it. And if all the dealerships are out there trying to throw incentives to get rid of that anomaly car, that's the wrong approach. The right approach is find the buyer who would buy that car, not just cater to the masses. Does that make sense? I think I'm trying to make sense here. So I'm not saying that you have to go out and just only take listings that back up to power lines and streets. Don't do that. Although we were a magnet for those. I don't know why. But one of the things I did is I started thinking about this going, wait a minute. I wonder if there's some agents out there that do a really good job of representing buyers who back up to streets and power lines. So I did the same search. So I went online, I'm like, there's a guy I found, he sold 3 houses that year that backed up to power lines and streets. And I called him, and I'm like, hey man, I got a listing over here. It was on Carefree Highway and, I forget what it was, Carefree, and anyway, backed up to Carefree, you could see it, power lines, the whole deal. I'm like, hey, I've got this house that I don't know if you have a buyer for, but I don't know if you know this, but I did some research, and you actually represent more buyers than anybody I've seen that back up to power lines and a street. And he's like, whoa, I didn't know that. And I'm like, well, you somehow do a really good job of being able to walk through that buyer in that house and dispel any issue they have. You're doing something right. And so he didn't end up showing it, but it was nice to be able to identify that, to be able to call that person out, because that's more strategic, right? That's where I think it becomes more, I'm not just going to lay it out there. I'm going to try to do something more than just blanket market. I'm going to try to find the actual buyer for that property. Anyway, okay, so that's what the sellers want. Who does, and again, guys, if you're doing magazines, I don't want to offend you, please, but how many guys put your home in a magazine? It's okay to say yes, it's fine. It's expensive. There's 2 ways to do it, right? If you're going to do it in a magazine, it's really good branding and really good PR. If you're expecting to get a buyer from it, you're probably not going to find a buyer for it, right? If 93% of all the buyers start online, you're probably not going to find a buyer in a magazine. But if it makes the seller feel good, right, that's why we do it. We placate the seller to let them know that, hey, I'm spending money, look at your magazine. So we have to think about that too. But if we can show them ways that we get buyer prospects on a daily basis, they don't ever require us to do that. So, and I'll go through that strategy as well in a second. Okay, so here's my buyers in waiting. This is the list of buyers that match the client's house when we talk to them, when we go in and talk to them. So, hey, out of 14,000 buyers in our database, I took the liberty of scrubbing our list. I've got 122 that actually match your house. I'm not saying that one of these 122 are going to match or going to actually buy your house, but what I'm saying is I have the ability to generate buyer prospects 10, 15, 20, 25 a day, where a magazine probably isn't going to do that, right? Magazine takes a week to come out, another week to hit the stands, and then what? Someone's sitting through AJ's and flipping through the magazine going, oh, that's the house I want. I can't believe it's there. Oh my God, that's crazy. Where have you been all my life? That's not how it works. So anyway, I think you guys get the gist. So if you walk in with a list of buyers, proof your marketing works and your negotiating strategy, and that's the other part. You have to have a negotiating strategy. Here's what happens, and I'm sure this is what I did. I'm sure you guys did this. Here's what happens. Candy over here is my seller. I got an offer. So excited. Candy, I got an offer. What do you want to do? And she's looking at me going,
What do you think I should
dude, I'm paying you commission. Like, that's your job. Like, if my stockbroker called me and said, hey, Apple stock's at 162. Okay. Thanks. Like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know what to do. So that's my point, is that I think we have to identify that their advice from us, or our negotiating strategy, has to be a strategy. And you have to tell them what the strategy is. Okay, here's my strategy. If you and I agree on a price, we're going to come down to an absolute bottom line price that we're not going to come below, right? So let's say we list your house at $700,000. Your bottom line number is $650. At $650, you're going to send me an email and say, Jay, do not present any offer below $650. Now I have written authorization from the seller not to present any offer below 650. So Donna comes in as the buyer's agent. She comes in and says, here's my offer, and it's 625. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I appreciate that. Candy, it's a little low, or Donna, it's a little low. Can you tell me something about your buyer? No, Donna won't do this, but here's what most agents do. They will tell you things that they probably should never tell you. And you use that in negotiating. And so I'm going to say, Donna, this offer is really low. Can you tell me something warm and fuzzy about your buyer that makes my seller really excited about even looking at it? And then after this 10 or 15 minute conversation, I tell her, well, unfortunately, Donna, I'm not going to be able to present this offer. Of course, Donna gets all mad and says, you have to present all offers. I'm like, actually, I've written authorization not to present any offer below a certain number. Well, what's that number? 700. I mean, close to 700 to get, the better we are, right? So all of a sudden now, I'm gauging timing and motivation from her buyer. Now, if her buyer says, hey, I'm out and I'm walking, I'm certainly going to let Candy know, hey, I've got an offer. It's below your bottom line number. Do you want to see it? Yes. Then I'll present it. But at this point, Donna's going to bring me an offer. Now, if I get her to negotiate against herself and bring up another offer, Donna, you got to bring your buyer up. Bring your buyer up to as close as you can get to 700. So now they come close to 600, and then we do that whole thing again. Now they come up to 665. Now I'm like, Donna, God, your buyer loves this house. I know you told me all this stuff. It's close to my client's bottom line number. Let me see what she'll do. Yeah, it's close. It's 15 grand over. So now I come to Candy and I say, hey, they started at 625. I got them to 650. Now they're at 665. Here's my advice. I think we've got one more counter, but here's what I think we should do. That's what they want. You guys ever watch $1 Million Listing? Are you guys ever enthralled about how they negotiate? I love that. Now I know it's all for TV, but I love how they do that. They're like, hold on a second. I'm authorized to do that, right? I mean, I love that. They already have the ability to do that stuff, and that's where I started thinking about that. I'm like, why don't we do that? Why do we always have to go back and ask if we already know where our client's number is? It's your job to negotiate. I'm not saying the seller isn't your client and they're going to give you the final word whether you like it or not. But if you already have authorization from them, then you should be able to negotiate on their behalf. Anyway, that's a strategy you tell the seller and you're actually presenting to the seller, right? So it works most of the time. It doesn't sometimes. You get multiple offers in 3 days. Not much of a strategy there. I mean, there is, but it's not that. So. Okay, so let's get into some branding. Any questions on what I just went through? Any thoughts on that? I know I kind of went through that kind of fast. Any questions on any of that stuff, the strategy? I'll go through more of that. Does anybody have a good strategy they use? Did they ever talk about negotiating? Do you guys do that in the listing presentation? Yeah, that is super important because that is exactly what they want. Yeah, and showing them that you have an access to buyer prospects because that's exactly what they want. I always think to myself, if a seller was sitting there with a bucket full of buyers and they could just pull up and say, how much are you willing to pay? Nope. How much are you willing to pay? All right, I'll take you. Would they need us? If they could negotiate their better deal, if they could find buyers that we can't find, and they could traverse the contract, would they ever use us? I don't know. It makes us more relevant if we do.
You were talking about, the whole Baxter Street,
Yep.
power lines, and I've taken over 10 other agents' listings, and what I found each time, the agents always avoided some super negative thing about the house and really either downplayed or never even mentioned it. The perfect example I have, I took over Lincoln, it was on market for 400 days. It was a dirt backyard, a Toll Brothers house, but the house where it was priced was the best value in the zip code. So within 24 hours of getting the listing, I highlighted the unfinished backyard. Like, oh my God, you can build your own dream backyard. Here's a picture of this enormous dirt lot, and it's the best value in the zip code. It's sold in 24 hours just off of my Facebook post, even before after the other agent had for 400 days.
So that's why clients need us because you marketed to the price, you marketed to the house, you highlighted the things that other people thought were negatives.
And the person looking to build their own backyard is the person that bought it.
Isn't that funny? You just targeted that person. Yeah, I love it. That's good stuff. And that's what makes this job so much fun. And then there's times where you're just like, oh God, I'm glad I don't have my gun with me. Yes, Teresa.
Maybe I'm a stalker, but I always like to know who I'm negotiating against. And so I go straight into the licensing and I look at every place they've worked and how long they've worked, just to know if they know anything.
Yeah, that's kind of stocky. But you know what? That's a good.
And I try,
But no, that's.
I try really hard. It's not my personality, but I try really hard not to do a lot of talking on the phone with the other agent.
Yeah.
They'll just overexpose.
It's funny when you ask people, and we've done that, right? People have, and I hang up the phone. I'm like, oh, did I just Did I just disadvantage my client? I think I might have.
One other thing I want to add is, I never think it's in your best interest as a listing agent to put your client's phone number down for any reason to talk to agents calling to make appointments to show the house. Because I've used that a million times over where
Oh, you mean that the,
I called one time to show a house, and the guy said, "Oh, I'm so glad you're showing my
Thank you,
house.
sweetie.
I lost my job. I'm almost out of money." And I'm like, "Oh, you know, the price has dropped in my mind." 'cause
you just hurt yourself, by the way.
Right. So once again,
I agree. Well, don't they have, aren't there limited service listings that you can do? I mean, I've seen a few of those out there. I don't know if you guys see those, but I don't know. But yeah, and that's what happens, right? You have to call the seller, and yeah, that's such not a good idea. Yeah. Anyway. All right, so let's jump into this real quick, and I'll go through this. Well, how much time we have? We have it's 10 o'clock. We have 1 hour before our panel gets in. Hi, Corinne. You guys don't know Corinne Wynn. She's going to be on our panel. I'm excited about that. Good seeing you. Okay, so differentiation. We're going to talk a lot about that because this is where the branding comes in. I think it's more kind of where you guys are at now. Do not think or do not unfocus on unbranded marketing because that's a really, really, really great lead gen system and it's a great pipeline builder. Okay, I've said that enough. What I realized in differentiation, if you look at a commodity service, give me some examples of a commodity-based service. Attorneys, real estate, tax accountants, right? They all kind of do the same thing from A to Z. When you're looking for a service-based business or something to hire, when you're looking deep into it, sometimes you're like, God, who do I choose? They're all really, really close to the same. And what happens is you have one of them that's 10% more, that becomes 100% better. And you're like, that's the one. And so that one little thing, and that's why that saying 10% more is 100% better, in any kind of marketing, any kind of service-based industry, that is exactly what you have to do. You have to be a little bit better or different, not better, because better doesn't always mean different, but different always is 100% better when it comes to showing what you do differently. Does that make sense? Am I saying that right? Okay. Well, let's get into that. Okay, so when you're talking to a seller, here are the things that I think are really, really important. If you guys, and by the way, at the end of this, if you guys want a copy of this or you guys want, I have a handout, a digital handout. In the back when you guys leave, make sure you get with Morgan and give you a card, and I will email you guys a Dropbox file with all of this stuff in there and some other stuff that has descriptions of what to do and how to do it as well. It's a lot, but take it anyway. Swipe it. Okay. So these are the things that I think are really, really important. We have all the buyers, right? We have buyers in our waiting list. We have buyers that we're working with. We have access to be able to get buyers because that's what they want. And I don't care how you get it. I don't care if you're cold calling. I don't care if you have an online system. If you have an acquisition system for buyer prospects, sellers will pay attention. Yes, sir.
So then how do you overcome when a seller goes to you, if you're preaching this at the listing table?
I know where this is
well,
going.
How come you didn't bring me a buyer when it was listed there?
Yep. Okay, good. So what I say, you're going after an expired listing, right? Yeah. Yeah, so usually what happens is people say, oh, well, where were you before? Like, well, look, I'm not saying, I didn't market your home specifically to my buyers. I mean, your home was marketed online, and I'm not saying it wasn't marketed correctly, but I didn't specifically market your home to my buyers. I marketed 23,000 homes to my buyers. I didn't specifically market this specific home to this list. So yeah, great question. And they always say, well, or they'll say, well, okay, well, if you bring the buyer, here's the question, right? Will you reduce your commission? How many guys you get that? I'm like, if I'm doing double the work, I can get a commission on a buyer any house. Not sure that makes sense for me. Because in my mind, guys, here's my opinion. You guys owe fiduciary responsibility to two people. Number one is your client. Number two is your CEO, you, yourself, your business owner. You have to do what's right for your business. You can't put you in front of your client's interest, but you also have to have an equally same fiduciary responsibility to your business. Sometimes I talk to agents, I'm like, look, I'm here to save you money from you because you're not protecting it. Because you're only looking out for other people, you have to protect yourself. And I'm not saying be greedy or look inward. I'm just saying you absolutely have to have fiduciary responsibility for your client, but you also have to do it for your business. You have to make right decisions for your business. I was talking to an agent, and again, we're going to talk about commission. So he had a listing that he knew he was going to get 5 offers in 2 hours. And I said, what are you going to offer as a co-broke? He goes, oh, I'll probably offer 3%. I go, okay, what's your commission? He goes, 6. I go, okay, is that smart? I'm just saying, it's a business decision, right?
You know, what I've said before when you say that is, so you want to penalize me for getting the job done quicker for you. So does that mean if we take
Right.
3 months on the market,
Yep.
we'll give you 10%?
I remember we sold one. I think it was one of our agents, and that's the same thing that happened. We sold it within like a day or two, and they're like, "Oh, well, we did. You know, we fixed the house up for you. You didn't really do anything." I'm like, "You hired me for, like, this is why you hired me." Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. Yeah, don't make it too easy for me because I don't think you'll actually earn your income. Yeah. All right. So number 2 is we sell homes faster or for more money. So if you guys are saying to if you guys are putting marketing pieces out there that says, hey, just sold over asking price, or just sold 100% of asking price, does the consumer know that's good? I mean, they might think it is because you're putting it out there, but if you're not leveraging it or you're not averaging it against something different, they don't know. This is a good story. Lizzie Hofer here. I love her, by the way. She is just phenomenal. For years, she thought I hated her. Because about 3 years ago, I posted something on, or she posted something on Facebook that said, I forget what it was. You said,
My husband posted that we had closed $100 million.
yeah, $100 million in transactions. And I posted, I'm like, oh, is that good? Now, I know that's good, but I'm like, as a consumer, I don't know that's good, as I assume all mortgage people do. I mean, I don't know. And so she was like, I think she got a little upset, but Skylar did a really good job. He's like, great point. The average mortgage person only does 10 million. I'm like, well, holy cow, that's really good. That's 10 times better. And that was my point. My point was, if you don't measure it against what the average is, you don't know if it's good or not. When somebody says, hey, I just sold this house in 30 days, you're like, awesome. Well, if the average is 5, that sucks, right? If the average is 120, that's pretty darn good. So anyway, you guys get my point. Okay, so we sell homes faster, and that's another point. How many of your clients would rather wait on the market and get more money for their home? Yeah? Or how many people want to sell faster but were willing to give up more money? And I don't know if the right answer is, whatever your market is, that's what you need to start working on. So in our market, it's definitely, I don't mind waiting 90 days as long as I get as much money as I can get for my house. Then that makes sense. If your market is people want to move fast, then that's what you have to market. If your days in the market is better than the average. Do you guys all know how to leverage or how to find your numbers? No? There's some programs out there that are pretty good. I'll talk about those too. Okay. Your home is more likely to sell. What's interesting about this is that most homes, well, no, I shouldn't say most. Do you guys know what the number is of homes that actually sell, that are on the market? I think it's 68%. 68% of all homes don't sell. I'm sorry, sell. 32% don't sell, excuse me. So if you look at your listings and you say, hey, I listed 15 homes this year, or 10 homes this year, and I sold 9 of them, 1 of them expired, you're a 90% close ratio. If the average is 68%, that's pretty good. So I had one agent, I'm like, how many homes do you list and you sell? It's like 100. How many did you list? 1. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. All right. I mean, hey, there was a guy who put a marketing piece out there and said, voted the #1 agent in my marketplace. At the bottom it said, by my mom. My mom voted. Like voted by my, I'm like, well, hey, look, it's true. I mean, you just have to have that good, fine print. Call it mouse print. Okay. So your home is not likely to sell because only 32% of the homes, or actually 68% of the homes do actually sell. So third-party social proof. You can claim all of this. You can say you're really good, but if there's no third-party social proof to identify that that is real, then it doesn't matter. When you're on the rooftop singing how good of an agent you are, it's not as powerful as somebody who knows you singing how good you are. You guys all know that, right? So that's why social proof is really important. Anyway, okay. And so reversing the risk and offering a performance guarantee. Some people have done this in the past where they do, like, you guys have all seen the, hey, your home sold or I'll buy it. And I'll show you some good examples of that. But some kind of performance guarantee. I remember when I was in a listing presentation, this is, I don't know, probably back in 2011 or 12. I was talking to a guy who wanted to list his house, and it was gross, well, he was hammering me on commission, right? And so I said, well, like, why does that matter? Like, what's the benefit to you? He's like, well, I pay less and I get more in my pocket. I'm like, yeah, because you're assuming that the other person who's going to do it for this commission is going to sell it for the same price. So why don't we do this? I said, if I sell it for that price, I'll take his commission. But if I sell it for this, then you pay me this. But wait a minute, I'm not done. If I get this, you pay me this. And he's like, you think you can get that? I'm like, you're going to pay me that? Because I'll certainly try. And what it did is he looked at it and said, well, God, this guy's putting his, what do I have to lose? Yes, I want somebody I want somebody to hustle for me as a seller. And if I'm gonna get that number to get a certain percentage of commission as a seller, I'm like, I'll pay that. Why wouldn't I? So that's a type of performance guarantee you guys could do. A sliding scale, based on sales, based on whatever. So don't be afraid to do that. Here's a good statistical one that we used. One of my people that I helped create this, I love his name, that's why I keep it. I just think Pixley is such a cool name. Anyway, so he identified that he had a 98.6% list price average, and the average in the marketplace was 91.5. What we did is we monetized the difference at $346,000. That would save a client $24,000 more by using Pixley because of his list price ratio. He also did the same thing on days in the market. He was 25.5 days faster. He sold 89% of his listings, where the average is only selling 71.4, and that he had a list of buyers of over 700 people in his database looking for properties. This is pretty compelling. This is not a performance guarantee. This is just a statistical, unique selling proposition. This is unique to him, unique to his numbers, and why somebody should use him. And I'll share this with you too. That's in the USB. So that's good stuff. Any questions on that? Any thoughts on that? All right, let's jump into it. I love this slide. I usually get boos or hums or yays or anyway. All right, so your career success depends on how you can answer or articulate a single question. I've asked this question already. The question is, and this is a question that most agents cannot answer. Now, this is a quote from Dan Kennedy. You guys all know who Dan Kennedy is. Really good marketing guy. But the question really is, Candy, why would I do business with you versus Donna? Or why would I do business with you versus Glenn? Well, I do this. Yes, so does Glenn. Well, I'm going to do a drone video. Yep, so does Glenn. Like, what articulates you from being different that other agents can't say that they do? And I'm not saying we're going to create some weird, unique wheel in the industry that doesn't exist. We're just going to pick out the proprietary pieces of the process that we do really well and show that we do them better than other people. I'm not going to go up and say, hey, I do this better than Glenn, or I do this better than Candy, but I'm going to do this better than the average agent. And so I don't know who you're talking to, but did they talk to you about their buyer and waiting list? No. Did they talk to you about their negotiating strategy? No. Did they talk to you about how their marketing actually gets buyers? No. Well, if that's the case, then they probably don't have one. If they don't have one, they probably can't articulate these numbers. And if that's the case, you're probably talking to an average agent. So anyway, so just want to let you guys know that, think about this question. This is a really, really serious question, because every single buyer and every single seller asks this to you. You just don't hear it sometimes. In the back of their mind, when you guys choose something, you know how you guys choose services or an accountant or something? Why do you interview more people? You interview 2 or 3 people because in your mind you're like, all right, why am I going to use this person? Do I like this person? Do I think he's going to do a good job? That's the question. Why should I do business with you versus my other options? Okay. So let's jump into some image branded marketing, some good and bad marketing pieces. And some of you guys have done this, and I've done it too. And so I picked out some stuff. Some of this stuff may offend some people. It may not. But it's real marketing that happens. So let's jump into it. Okay, so this is what I call commodity marketing. This is what I say, does this answer the question, why should I do business with you versus anybody else? All right, so this one says, kind of hard to see in the back, good things are happening in your neighborhood. Prices are in square foot are on the rise. Land prices are rebounding. The luxury market has experienced approximately 10% year-over-year appreciation. We've been uniting extraordinary Arizona homes with extraordinary Arizona lives for 45 years. I can't keep reading this. My God. Does this tell me anything? Why should I use this person? Because don't I want to have, what's unique to her that I would use her, right? So I think what she's trying to say here, and what a lot of agents do, they spend money on marketing pieces, and what they're trying to say is assume they want the seller to reach out, or the person they send it to reach out to them. The problem is, it doesn't say it. Way at the bottom it says, contact us for a complimentary analysis of what your home would sell for in today's market. Now, it's not a bad call to action. It's not a bad offer. It's just so flippin' tiny, because if a consumer gets a postcard or a marketing piece, this is no offense to 10-year-olds, but if a 10-year-old doesn't understand, or if a 10-year-old doesn't understand it, the general public won't. And that's because you have literally 7 seconds before it hits the hand in the trash, right? So you have to have a really good message, you have to have a really good offer. And so, but this still doesn't say that, can any agent give me analysis on my home, what it would sell for? Because isn't that what agents do? All right, I'll go into more of that. Here's one that I kind of like. I think you guys have seen this before. I don't know who this is. Sold, sold, sold. By the way, this is the same house. I looked it up. We have over 30 million listings today. Oh, great. So if you list my house and it's $1 million, you'll have $31 million in listings? You can list them, you just can't sell them? What's the message? Like, I don't want to be another, bottom of the totem pole of your listings, right? So I don't know. It doesn't scream why I should use you. And it says providing the personal touches to make your experience perfect. But isn't that kind of a baseline? Do I want all my? Oh, thank God, because I really didn't want an agent to do that. Yeah. So anyway, all right. This is something I was sitting in. I think we were in Orange County at one time, and I looked at this and I'm like, this is interesting. This company has a strong start to 2017. In escrow, in escrow, in escrow, sold, 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 in escrow, in escrow. Assuming I know what in escrow means, you're telling me there's nothing available. But here's the problem is that as agents or brokers, we think, no, we're trying to tell them that we're selling houses. Well, then say it. Tell them, lead them down the path of what you're trying to get them to say. If a 10-year-old doesn't know what to do with this, the general public will not know what to do with this. And if it's just PR branding, then that's fine, but make it compelling. In escrow, in 5 days, the average is 25 days. Okay, now you got a message. All right, so here comes my favorite part. You guys have probably heard me say this. I know you have. Just listed, just sold. Who does just listed, just sold cards? Okay. Who does a standard farming card every single month? Wow. Really? It doesn't surprise me. Here's why. You spend money on it and you get 0 results. Or you've tried it and you get 0 results. Yep, that's exactly why. This is going to help you identify a little better of what you should put out there and how you can identify the value of what you bring to the table to the sellers, get them to raise their hand, and then it's on you, right? Then you got to do a really good job.
So you're saying you get 0 results, not because they're not effective, it's that most people are doing it wrong.
It's very effective. They're just doing it wrong. Yeah, exactly. Marketing pieces, direct response, direct mail marketing is awesome. It is so good. It is so effective because the sophistication level of sellers and buyers has risen a lot in the last 2 or 3 years, right? They're ducking and weaving, avoiding us like crazy. Unless they put all of their mail on hold, that's one medium that we can get in front of them. Like even every day Michelle gets the mail, I run to the counter because I want to see all the advertising. And she throws it away and I dig it out of the trash, right? So it's kind of funny. She doesn't think it's funny. Anyway, so, all right, just listed, just sold. Why is it just listed? Okay, this one right here, just drives me crazy. And it drives me crazy because I just see people spend money and they're wasting money. Just listed in, what is this? Custom Luxury in DC Ranch. And with this person, if it's he or she, what they do is they itemize all the different stuff on the house, right? They itemize all the list of stuff that's on the property. So what's the purpose of a just listed card? Okay, let me back up. What's the reason this agent put out a just listed card? Is he trying to find the buyer?
Yeah, no.
Is he? Because my guess is he probably sent it to the neighborhood, right? Because that's what we do, right? Where we're told, oh, every time you list a house, you got to send it to your neighborhood. But what's the purpose of a just listed card? Right, it's the herd effect, right? One sells or one list. Hey, honey, that house just listed. We've done that. Hey, this one just went on the market. Maybe it's time for us to put ours on the market. So my point is that if it doesn't identify why I should use this person, then it's ineffective. So he says just listed. It's a seller's market. Call us. Well, if it's a seller's market, I can kind of do it myself, right? I don't need to call anybody. Can I call any agent, or can I do it myself? So anyway, what this person fails to do, no one does this, by the way. What people fail to, that was the QR code. Nobody actually looked at those. He doesn't have a strong call to action. It's not telling me why I should list with him and why his neighbor listed with him. If I know his neighbor, if it were me, I would say, your neighbor at 123 Main Street just listed his home, and he listed with me because of my, boom, we're gonna go through this, and this, and identify the 3 or 4 things of the reason why that person listed with me. Because the whole intent of that card, sorry, did I mess that up? The whole intent of that card is to identify, I want another seller, or I want somebody in that neighborhood to identify that they want to sell. And if I know my neighbor and I trust my neighbor who listed his home with Will, then I might call Will because of these items. As opposed to, here's a public announcement, home just went on the market. And we're all waiting for a response, and we get none. Okay, Just sold's another one. I love just solds, but here's the problem. The just sold card is identifying something that we do on a daily basis, right? So some of you guys have heard me say this. For those of you who haven't, laugh. For those of you who have, fake it. What does an electrician do on a daily basis? Fix wires. What does a plumber do on a daily basis? What does an agent do on a daily basis? So, yeah, what we're identifying is that we're telling people what we do on a daily basis, right? So we're just saying, hey, we just sold a house. Oh, okay, cool. Like a stockbroker, I just made a trade. Awesome, I guess. So, and here's the problem, is anybody gonna read that? Like that's too much, people aren't gonna read those paragraphs, they're not gonna read that. Here's another one that I wanna share with you. You guys probably know who this is, but just sold in DC Ranch, right? Okay, great, just sold. Inventory levels are low in DC Ranch. Think of selling, now's the time, call us today. That's the call to action. If that's the call to action, can I just call anybody? Does that answer the question why I should use you? Okay, top real estate team in 85255. Here's where I have issues with this. Do I care as a consumer that you're the #1 team in 85255? Could I care less? If you're not highlighting why you're the #1 team in the 85255, it doesn't matter. If this person's going to say, because of our marketing, our negotiating, our buyer and waiting list, and our marketing expansive growth of what we do to market homes, I am the #1 team in 85255. That makes more sense. But if he's just saying, like me walking into the dealer, nobody has ever walked in a dealership, right, and said, I want to talk to the #1 car salesman in the dealership, so no one ever does that. Why do we do that as agents? But here's the other issue. We're telling people what we do on a daily basis, and like I said before, what does a dentist do on a daily basis? Fix teeth, pulls teeth. Have you ever seen a just pulled a tooth card from a dentist? Well, okay, hold on. Now you have. There it is, right there. Yeah. I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm thinking to myself, I was thinking, you know what? It would be great to have a plumber, right? So a plumber calls you and says, hey, just want to let you know, I put the pipes together. I just didn't use solder. Really? Okay. Doesn't all plumbers use solder when they put pipes together? Anyway, so you get my point. The point is that if you're going to articulate what you're doing on a daily basis, make it unique and compelling. Otherwise, they just assume that's what we do on a daily basis. They don't know any different. Like I assume all these people who do their job on a daily basis do their job, yet we're the only ones out there pushing that we do our job on a daily basis. Unless we can do it something unique and compelling. Okay, here's another one. So the one on the left is a just listed car that came out in Silverleaf, and these poor ladies, I think they're agents, I think they're good agents. I feel bad because I think the whole intent on this is to get sellers to raise their hand and identify, but there's no call to action, there's no unique selling proposition, there's nothing that says that I should call them other than this. Call the team with more. More what? Like identify what it is that you're trying to get me to do. And then if you want me just to regurgitate the information from the house, can I just look it up online? And like there's no direct connection to that agent. There's nothing unique that I have to call that agent for. All right, I think I've beaten that horse. All right, does anybody do this? Does anybody put a flyer box in front of the sign? If you do, and it's the MLS sheet, you will destroy your lead gen opportunity. Just saying. If you put a flyer box with the MLS sheet on there and somebody drives up and they grab it and your listing is listed at $475 and they're like, oh, I'm out, I want $450. It's no different than a lead coming to your website that came in on a $475,000 house and you end up selling them a $600,000 house, right? Because they don't think they can get what they want. It's a lead. A lead is a lead is a lead. And so you're ruining the one small opportunity you're going to get a sign call. Because how many people get sign calls anymore? Okay, which is good. It's less and less and less, and we're going to show you some examples of how to get more. But if it were me, and I was the one listing this house, this would be my flyer box. Because my flyer box is a lead generation tool. I would identify how we source homes, how we find homes, and I would also offer some benefits to the buyer. Because that's who's looking at it. Now, you're going to have to preface your seller. I know what you're thinking, oh my God, my seller would go sideways if he heard this or saw this. No, you have to let them know that people aren't going to call unless it's something unique and compelling. Now, if the buyer calls me because of this, yes, I'm going to direct them to your house. But if they're calling on the house, it doesn't matter. They want the house, right? So they're going to find it anyway. My point is that if you're going to put something in there, then put something about what you do and your services.
Okay.
Yes.
Kind of interesting because coming from a different market, say, I can't believe this person didn't have a brochure box on
Yeah.
flyers. So I think that's, a lot of that's market driven.
Yep.
Which was interesting because some of my largest sales that I ever got back there were directly off of property flyers on my listing signs, and I was one of the ones that was shocked that very few people did it.
That actually did it, yeah.
So I think a lot of times
It is market driven.
an expectation of what's
Totally.
enormous in the market.
And anymore, nowadays, it's so easy to pull up in front of a listing and open up what? Open up your phone and go, boom, here's the listing, here's the price, here's what it is. I don't need that information from the agent anymore. And so we're going to show you a couple different things. That's a good point, because I think you're right. I mean, there's some really good ways to get that. And I think, oddly, I think that the issue is if it's market driven and there's not a lot of people with that kind of technology, then it makes sense, then absolutely do it.
I don't know what your thoughts are, but I took everything off my signs. I got rid of the cul text, I got rid of
Ugh,
flyer boxes, I
hate
got rid
those.
of all of it, and my sign poles.
absolutely. You know what? Because you're forcing them to do what? To call you. Yeah. I'm going to show you some really good writers that are really working in today's market. And it's nothing other than just asking people to do what they want to do already. So that's a good point. If you give them too many options, and I'm going to show you a friend of mine in California who has probably 15, must not have an HOA there, because there's got to be like 15 sign writers on one sign. It's crazy. Yeah, but no, that's a good point. And I think you're right. If you funnel that down to do one thing and to call that number, it makes it easier. It's like when you go and you like, you ever go to, I go to Cheesecake, I love Cheesecake Factory. That is like a book. That's like chapters in that menu. I'm like, oh my God, I got 3 pages of burgers, I got 3 pages of pasta. I'm like, I don't know what to pick. It's so hard to choose. And I end up picking the same thing. But if you have a menu that you've got 4 or 5 items, it's pretty easy. So I think that's what we're trying to do, is kind of funnel that down. Okay, this is for fun. This is, again, this is going to be interesting because this is true, real marketing pieces that people put out. I'm not lying. This is real. Selling over 140 homes is easy, or a year is easy. Listening to my clients' needs and wants takes a lot of work. My ears get a workout every day. Call me and I'll show you what a difference an agent that listens makes. Is that a baseline? Isn't like listening to people a baseline? That seems interesting. But she leverages even harder here. Look at that. That's pretty funny.
At least it's funny. At least it's different.
Oh, I'll show you some different. All right, here's the honest approach. For the love of God, will somebody buy this house? I mean, you got to appreciate the person's honesty. I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah. He's probably like, dude, just buy it. God. All right, you think that's funny? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a real marketing piece. Please do not get offended. This is a real postcard that came out. I don't know how it worked. Not sure how well it worked. But that is a real postcard. I'm not sure what she's selling, but I don't think my wife would let me to use her. Let me take you home. This is real marketing, guys. This is real stuff. How about this? We will sell your house for 72 hours or it's free. The house is free if we can't sell it in 72 hours. Of course, there's always a free pizza with the purchase of a house. And then, of course, this poor lady, I think I would change my name. And then there's the FISBO who just wants to sell as fast as they can. Another honest approach, I don't know. Anyway, so you get the idea. We've all done this before. We've all had some interesting marketing pieces out there, but I always wonder, like, what does the consumer see in us when we just start doing this stuff? It's kind of interesting. So, okay, so this I'm going to kind of go through a little bit. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot. Did we bring our pre-sale package? We forgot to bring that, didn't we? Yes, we did. All right. So if you guys get a chance, jump on YouTube and just look at the perfect pre-sale listing package, or just Google and it'll be up there. I totally forgot to bring it. So does anybody do a pre-listing marketing package to a seller? Okay. Corinne, you do one? Awesome. Yeah, it is. I'm telling you what, that is a game changer. I totally forgot to bring that. So in ours, we have this really cool video card that opens up and you can put a specific message on it. It's really cool. It's got this really cool portfolio. It's dialed in. It is very, very cool. And I wish I had it. But if you go to YouTube and look at that, It's called the Perfect Pre-Sale Listing Presentation on YouTube. And what I like about it is it's not parochial. It's not something that's going to scare somebody away if they're in that $200,000 range, yet it's going to just impress the heck out of somebody in that $10 million range. It's going to get past the gatekeepers because we put it in a FedEx box. It is a full portfolio, hardbound book, our logo on it, and I can't believe we forgot it. All right, good. I knew you'd cover me. It's on my desk. It's behind my desk. I told you, it was right there. Okay. So positioning yourself as brand marketing, using that pre-sale shock and awe package, quarterly newsletters, postcards, monthly email, text or videos. Anybody doing video emails? We're going to talk about that a little bit today too. Is anybody doing heavily video emails? I think they're awesome. I'm telling you what, talk about humanizing who you are and getting people sticky to who you are. I know, I see your eyes. The hardest part about doing a video email is pushing the button, trust me. I have a face for radio, I know what you mean. Okay, so marketing ideas, we'll get past that, we'll do that later. All right, let's jump into this. So what is, like, Gary, you were talking about this, the specific message market match and the medium in which the match matches. It's a lot of matching. So this is a landing page that would be something that's really specific. I'm gonna funnel that lead down to a specific offer. And that offer is, hey, instantly see your home's asking price if you were to sell it in today's market. Because what's the one thing that sellers always wanna know? Outside of commission. What would you list it for? Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is get people who are just looking, or just want to know what their home is worth. I don't want them to necessarily fill this out. I want people that are more likely to sell their home. There's a marketing, I didn't show this, but there's a ad we used to run in the newspaper. It was like a unbranded ad, and it was top 10 questions. Who did that? Top 10 questions. Wow. I love Ghost Adventures, but I'm a little, that freaks me out. The top 10 questions you need to ask before you hire a real estate agent, right? If somebody responds to that, they're probably more likely ready to hire a real estate agent. That's a great ad to run because you're just funneling that down. You may not get a lot of them, but you'll get people who are more likely to want to do that. Here's another one. Here's one I tested a while back, and it actually worked pretty well. You guys ever use Priceline? Is that still around, by the way? Is that something that you can do? No, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so hey, would you consider selling your home at a specific price? Find out if one of our 6,000 plus buyers in our waiting database are interested in your home at your price. Find me the buyers. So they click on it, they fill it out, they actually put their price in, what they're willing to take for their home, and most of them were in the stratosphere, but that's okay. They still identify that they were willing to sell. And that was the most important thing. Is that, I mean, at that point, we can just work them down as far as what their home is really worth, but asking people what they would willing to sell their home for was a great way to funnel people down into that funnel. And our branding is there. It's not this, it's not my face and my cell phone you're seeing on there, so it works pretty well. Okay, here's a couple more. Here's another one too. Now here's a miss that I missed. I have ScottsdaleHouseValues.com. I don't want a house value, I want an asking price. So I changed that to ScottsdaleAskingPrice.com. I want an information-rich domain that matches the message, so there's no disconnect. You guys ever go to a website that somebody gives you and you're like, whoa, delete my cookies. Like that doesn't match. So yeah, you got to make sure that it matches. So here's one I borrowed from you guys. Instantly see how many buyers are currently looking for a home like yours, and what they're willing to pay for it. Right, so they can go to search and match buyers or call 800, right? I'm giving them a low threshold way. Even though their number and their name is on there, what's interesting is that more people will follow the 800 number or the landing page, or they might just call your cell, which is fine, but the offer is pretty specific. It's, hey, we have buyers, and see how many buyers that we have would match your home. And how many buyers do we have that actually are looking for homes like yours? So all we're trying to do is get people to raise their hand. Yeah, this is an old one. Yeah, this is just a proof I had to pull up really quick. My high C personalities are freaking out. My God, it's misspelled. No, it did not go out like that. It did not go out like that. Yeah. All right, you get the gist, all right? You guys can tell I'm a high I, D person. I'm a ready, fire, aim. I don't know if my marketing works until I fire. And then if I miss, I just re-aim and fire again. The problem that a lot of you guys get into, not you specifically, Jan, is that you're so worried that it has to be perfect. You don't know if it's perfect. Let the consumers, let the market tell you if it's perfect. If it works, it's what I call the GE spot. It's good enough. It's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just good enough. It works. Okay. But thank you for bringing that up. Okay, here's a good sign writer. Here's one of my favorite.
I wanted to say, Chris and I go back and forth on this, because, you know, sometimes he'll send something, I'm like, it's got a typo in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no.
And like, there's.
Some people get freaked out about typos.
Get into that, like, really high-end luxury. Some of them are really just, that they will say, you made a typo.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have to prove it. You can't make it. Nothing goes out without a proof. That's why Morgan and those guys are on my. That's why I don't do everything without them looking at it. Okay, so this is probably one of the best sign writers I've ever seen. So imagine this on your sign: open house every day, call for times. So here's what happens, right? Hey, Daryl, I'm calling about your house on 123 Main Street. When's the open house? Daryl's like, 5 minutes? Hold on, I'm coming. It's not a public open house, right? If my sign said open house Saturdays 1 to 4, would I get a call? I'm forcing the consumer or the prospect to call me to find out when the open house is. And the open house is really just a private showing. It can be, it doesn't say public open house, right? I'm not saying I'm having a public open house, I'm just saying open house every day. If I were to say I could show this house every day, call for times, would I get calls? Nope. It's all about the message. Okay. And then also, this is what I was talking about here. That's a lot of signs. It's a lot of writers. But having an offer, like John Glutch has one on his, buy this home and I'll buy yours, right? Doesn't matter what it is. He actually buys a lot of houses by that sign writer. Because there's a lot of buyers who have to sell their home before they have to buy, or they can buy. And so he'll buy them and flip them, of course. But that's a performance or a guarantee that he has, that he offers. So getting more people to raise their hand on signs is harder and harder. So I love Otley's idea. You basically just give them the sign and make them call you.
Can you talk about Rudy and what he does with his money?
What's that?
Can you talk about Rudy for a second? Tell him about his business? That guy is a rock star business.
Yeah, so Rudy is a good friend of mine. He is a part of our coaching program. He runs an office in Alhambra, California, somewhere in there. Anyway, he started out as just a small team leader doing about $20 million a year in business. Last year, he did $340 million in sales in his team. And he was rated, I think, the #5 RE/MAX team in the country, which is fantastic. So this is a guy who I know very well, and he is a really good student of trying and testing. Sits in the back corner, doesn't say a word to anybody, but he is on Facebook like nobody's business. I'm like, dude, just get off. But it works for him. So yeah, it's a good system. He does a good job. But he's modified his signs and everything since then. This is an early picture, but yeah. So that's why I put it up there. So I thought it was kind of neat. Okay, so here's some examples of really good. Oh, Nick.
On that last one, if you go back,
Yeah.
even on that yellow one, what I've been seeing is a lot of people do something like that. Buy this home and we'll sell yours for free.
Yeah.
Straight right there. Now, obviously, conditions apply. Like you can't, like that Men's Warehouse
Yep.
ad. It's like buy one suit, get two for free. Obviously, you can't get two $2,000 suits. If
Right.
you buy a $300 one.
Yep.
But when you're dealing with the buyer, you're sitting down and you have to tell them, okay, this is my conditions. This is actually what it is. And you're showing them that, oh, I have a higher commission if you do this deal or anything like that. How are you dealing with them saying like, oh, but you didn't say that in your listing. Oh, you're just trying to manipulate me with just a little text saying, oh, the little small text saying conditions apply. You know, 'cause
Yeah, any offer you guys have has to have a condition to it. Like your listing presentations all have conditions, right? You don't say all what the conditions are until you meet and sit down with them. So it's the same thing. I think what happens is because it's such a bold statement that a lot of people are questioning. Here's what I get usually when I did that. Hey, how does that work? I'm like, it works really well. When can I come see your house? Right? So that's the whole idea. The whole idea here is that if they have a home to sell, they buy this home, I'll sell theirs for free. I'll list it on the MLS for 30 days. If I can't get a buyer, I'll remove 100% of my commission, and you have to reduce your price by that commission, and we'll market that home until it sells. I'm still double-ending the sale of the listing. Right? So they're coming to me as a buyer on my listing, and they want to buy my house. If I don't sell their house within 30 days, I remove all of my commission. I still offer a co-broke commission, but then I double end the listing that they're buying. So why wouldn't I do that? Yeah. So, but yeah, you have to be good at really understanding what that offer or what the conditions are. You have to understand those. And this is just an example. So I'm not going to get into guaranteed sale programs and things like that because I think that'll freak a lot of people out. But yeah, I mean, just standing out, it's amazing how many people will call on that. It's crazy because it's unique and it's different. And they're like, And there's a fine line between, is it too good to be true? Does it look like it's too good to be true, or is it true? And that's the calls you're usually going to get. Too many people just take this like, I'm just going to fly just like all the other agents and hope I get business. No, make it different, make it compelling, make it unique, make it personal. Make it something that's unique to you. Doesn't have to be a performance guarantee, I'm just showing you some examples. But if you're going to do that, yes, Nick, you got to get really good at understanding how to talk about the conditions. Yeah. Okay, so here's some really good marketing pieces that we helped, and Eva's going to be here. I don't know if she's here yet. Jason's here. Hey, Jason. How you doing, bud? Looking good. You got the look of Detroit all over you, brother. I was hoping you'd wear your tiger hat. Oh yeah, yeah. So here's one that we helped Eva do. So this is a gal you're going to talk to. She's going to be up on stage, or on the panel here. She does everything in Pasadena is listings. She doesn't do a lot of buyers, but she does a massive amount of listings. So we helped her create this, and it really is good because she's got her unique selling proposition. So Nick, this is hers, right? Your home sold for 100% of asking price, she'll pay a difference. I'm not saying this is what you should do. I'm just saying this is what she does. But what she does really, really well is this. Thanks to my superior marketing, my negotiating strategies, and my personal database of buyers in waiting, I just sold these homes fast and with multiple offers over asking. So she's really doing a good job of articulating why I should use her over anybody else. And then she's got proof on the left-hand side of all the sales that she made. She also does a really good job of the statistical piece down below showing her stats versus the average agent. This is really, really good stuff because this is exactly what sellers don't see on a daily basis. Any questions on that? That's the front of the card. So here's what she's doing. Here's my offer. Here's how I can do it. Here's what I've done. Here's how you can get the exact same results. So her call to action is to download or call in for a home seller kit, which is, by the way, the pre-sale package, right? That thing I was talking about? That's the pre-sale package. So no obligation, mailed to your home, talk to no one. 24-hour recorded message. That is a very, very effective ad. And I'll let her talk more about what she gets on that as far as her product or what the numbers and stats look like. But she even put a picture of what some of the kit looks like. But that is a very, very effective ad. Now, here's the thing. Her phone number is still here. So we can still call her phone number, or I can call this 800 number, or I can go to this landing page. This landing page, by the way.
Hi there, Eva Lane here. Thanks for stopping by to learn more about our exclusive 100% of asking price guarantee and to request your complimentary home seller's kit. This kit is packed full of valuable information to help you avoid a terrible home selling experience. Inside, we've included a report that details the inner workings of our 100% of asking price guarantee, and you will find valuable information on all kinds of topics, such as what to do, and most importantly, what not to do to get your home sold for top dollar, what tough questions to ask when interviewing agents, and much more. So go ahead and click the button to request your complimentary home seller's kit today. You wouldn't want to miss out on this great information.
So if I click on that, I'm taken to a landing page and I fill it out and I request it. Or I can just call the 800 number. So that's hers and it works. So you have to just figure out what works in your marketplace. So, all right, let me go back here. Anyway, so again, those are not hard to make, by the way. Those landing pages are super easy. There's a lot of companies out there that have them, so pretty easy. I think that was done through Lead Pages. So, okay. Let's get into our listing domination package. This is something I thought about about 2 years ago. I thought, God, you know, I'm doing all these marketing. All these agents are doing postcard marketing to a neighborhood, to a farm area, and it's effective. But how do you make it more effective? Like when I first started, I was looking at all these people who are selling all these houses. I'm like, God, they're killing it, and I know they're doing well on marketing pieces, but I don't have 5 years to make a living. I need to make a living now. Like, how do I, and I know it's consistency, right? I know that farming is a consistent piece, but I thought, if I can get in front of the consumer more than just a marketing piece, would I have a better opportunity to be able to get more business? Could I shorten the time that it takes me to get business from, say, 12 months to 3 months? And so I thought, let's try this. So this is what we came up with. This is called our listing domination package. It consists of postcard or direct mail marketing, Facebook ads, video emails, voice broadcast, and text blast. These are the systems that we use. We use Cole Realty Resource, BombBomb, Slide Broadcast, and text message. Here's the idea. The idea is a postcard goes out to the consumer. It doesn't matter what it is. Could be a asking price report. Could be just like what we showed you with Eva, just doing her 100% of asking price and showing her unique selling proposition. So the postcard goes out once a month. Once the postcard goes out, that goes to a landing page. So let me just show you. Here's a couple of samples of one. So let's say this is a postcard. Find out what your Silverleaf Homes asking price would be. Here's one from Bridget, same thing. Here's the landing page, home seller kit, whatever it is, right? The postcard goes out, goes to a website. The website captures information just like I just showed you there. This one here is a sample of a good AVM, automated value model. So somebody gets a postcard, we drive them to a landing page, they put in their address, they get a value, right? They get a value of their home. Here's the problem with values. If you don't have the option or the opportunity to adjust those values are going to come back skewed, right? So if I start putting my address in and I get a $700,000 value and my house is worth $1.5 million, I'm going to assume the person who said that to me doesn't have a clue what my house is worth. So you have to make sure that the website you're using does have a really good value model that's accurate to the marketplace. And the only one that I have found that does that is through SmartZip. And that's if you upload your farm into their SmartZip account. That's the only thing I'm going to say about that. But anyway, so let's say they get a postcard, they go here, they fill it out, they see it. Okay, great. But let's say they don't fill it out. So let's say they just get the postcard, they get I create a Facebook ad, and the Facebook ad is identical to the postcard, right? Find out what your Silverleaf Homes asking price would be. So now they're getting postcard, and they're getting Facebook ad. So they're getting two. Now they get now they get a video email from me, if I'm marketing to that neighborhood. Hey guys, it's Jay, Platinum Living Realty. Hey, the reason I'm sending you this video is that we're having an open house here in the neighborhood. It's a seller or owners or neighborhood only open house. Just want to give you an invite. It's over here at 123 Main Street, whatever. I could do situational videos from just listed, just sold, open house. If I just list one in the neighborhood, if I just sell one in the neighborhood. Hey guys, we picked up a few buyers in the neighborhood that are looking for homes. We just closed this one. In fact, we did it in record days. 25 days versus the average of 98, whatever it is. And I picked up a few buyers that are looking for a home in the neighborhood. So all of a sudden now they're getting a video, they're seeing my Facebook ad, they're now seeing my direct mail marketing piece, and now they're getting voice broadcasts and text messages. You got to be careful on that. People get a little weird. So who got a text message from me today? Do you guys know that was automated, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, good. But it looked real, right? It looked good. But that's what I want. I want them to see everything that I'm doing. I want them to see me here. You guys ever go look at a car that you want, and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere on the street? You're like, there it is again, there it is again. It's reticular memory. So that's what Cookies is for. That's what AdWorks does. They do a really good job of actually identifying and putting your brand and your face and name in front of people on a daily basis. So this 5-step system is really, really good if you can consistently do it. It's once a month. Postcard goes out. The Facebook ad is simple and easy to do, right? You go to Cole Realty Resource, you download all of the information from Cole in that neighborhood, right? You go to Cole and say, okay, I only want the people's information from this marketplace. You can download it to a spreadsheet. Thank you so much. You download it to a spreadsheet. You upload it into BombBomb with the emails, Facebook with the phone numbers. Now you have custom audiences for both Facebook and BombBomb. Does that make sense? Am I saying that right? Okay. Has anybody ever done that? Does anybody do custom audiences within Facebook? Okay, yeah. So, and some people use email, some people use phone. I like phone and Facebook only because who has multiple emails? We all do. But usually have one phone number. So if you have a custom audience within Facebook, that ad is only shown to the people that you created in that custom audience. That custom audience is only created by the people that you've articulated that you wanted within that neighborhood. Does that make sense? Am I saying that right? Okay, because you guys all look confused. Okay, so postcard goes out, video email goes out, Facebook ad goes out, text message and voice broadcast goes out. Again, be careful on that because some people get a little weird. Now they're seeing me in 5 different places. They're seeing me in 5 different mediums. My next thought was, God, if I could just mail them a video card, but that is so expensive, right? So hitting them on a monthly basis in all those different mediums, they're looking at it going, God, I see this Gary guy, he's got his postcard, I see his Facebook ad, this guy must be killing it. Because that's the intent. I want them to see that I'm killing it, whether I am or not, in that neighborhood. I become more relevant. I shorten the time that it takes to get response from 12 to 18 months down to 3 to 6 months. Is anybody doing anything like this? Any thoughts on that? It's a good idea. It's really easy to do. Facebook ads are cheap. Video email is, I'm telling you, the hardest thing is just pushing the button. It's just simple to do. And if you can identify your farm or your market area and you download that, you have access to all that. You can do that once a month and do a market update. Even if you don't have a just listed or just sold, or you don't have an open house, just do a market update. Hey guys, market update in DC Ranch, here's what's going on. There's 220 homes listed for the market. Right now there's about 20 homes selling, so there's about a 10-month supply. Whatever the numbers are, whatever it makes sense, give me that advice that I'm looking for. Because all of a sudden now, you're relevant to me if I'm thinking about selling, because I'm getting multiple pieces from you that are really, really good. All right. Did that confuse anybody? Okay, that's the okay, before we jump into that, I'm going to pass this around. This is the pre-sale package. So if you guys haven't seen this, it is a pretty cool, it's, what do we get, Unibind, I think we get this from? Yeah. So we have a Unibind, there it is. Make sure you have that in here. So a letter announcement to the seller, hey, thanks for, now this is a package that goes out to a seller in a FedEx box before your appointment. Once you book an appointment, this goes out to them. You can door knock it. I love the door knock. Because all of a sudden now it's like, oh, hi, Donna, this is Jay. I have a meeting with you tomorrow, next week. I just want to drop this off. Oh, nice floors. Are those oak? What is it? You know, all of a sudden when I go to that meeting next week, I'm kind of an old friend, right? So I kind of have that, she knows me. But even if I don't, I want this in a FedEx box because I want them to rip this open, and there's a chemical release in a person's brain. You guys have all done this. Don't lie to me if you don't. I am a shoe fanatic. My wife and I fight about two things in this world, and that's the number of dogs we can have and the number of shoes that I can have. She wants more dogs, and I want more shoes. I love shoes like you wouldn't believe. But here's what I do. Sometimes I buy shoes at night, and I don't realize I buy them until I get the package. I'm like, oh, I forgot what I bought. I'm like, this is awesome. And so all of a sudden, and then you rip them open, right? And so you get the package. But that's the whole idea. The whole idea is that you want something that's really, you know, good things come in big packages, small things come in certified letters. Bad things come in certified letters. Okay, so they get this, right? And so here's the letter introducing what you're going to do. Here is where it really kicks off. This is a video card that basically has your face, your name, your information on it. And it's, hey, Donna, it's Jay. Just wanted to introduce who I am. I know we're meeting next week. This is killer. This is an amazing piece right here. They're 25 bucks a piece. They're not cheap. But all of a sudden they get this and they're like, oh my God, could you imagine how this person's going to market my home if they sent me this? This is crazy. I'll pass this around so you guys can see this. So when they get this, it's just another level, and it's amazing at how many people are just blown away by this. And then we of course have our, you know, Why Choose Us, our marketing book, which is also done in Candy. I stole that from you guys too, because you guys do such a good job implementing. And then of course our 200-step action plan, what we do, all 200 steps. Anyway, you guys can do whatever you want in there, it doesn't matter. But if they get this and they're looking at this going, okay, I don't know how many times you guys have been to a listing presentation where you've seen stapled black and white pieces of paper that some agents have sent to the sellers, and then yours, you're like, I got this, didn't I? Anyway, kind of cool. I'll send this around. And then we do this really cool note on there. It just talks about who we are. You know, hey, make sure you look at this, watch this, whatever you want to put on there, it doesn't matter. I'll let you pass that around. Thank you, Sweeney. Okay, let's jump. We have 15 minutes to get through 40 minutes of stuff. Online marketing. Anybody using an IDX system through online? Boomtown, Commissions Inc., KV Core, anybody using all this stuff? Okay, yep, good stuff. So this is your database. This is your buyer database. If you guys don't have, if you told me I had to go out and sell houses tomorrow, there's 3 things that I would do. I would go sit open houses every day. I would funnel as much money as I could into my IDX lead generation system, and I would do nothing but, I would farm as heavy as I could in one specific area. That's it. I would do that listing domination package, I would do my IDX system, and I would sit open houses. Now to me, open houses are a means to an end. Some people use it as a pillar of their business, which is totally fine. To me, I wanted to do that to get business so I don't have to sit them anymore, but some people like to have that as a pillar, which is perfectly fine. But I'm just saying, that IDX system is really, really important. So if you don't have a good CRM that's generating leads, or a good system that's generating business, because over time, they will pop. I think I was just talking to Jessica. Where's Jessica? Yeah. So I was walking in and she's like, I'll let you say it. What'd you tell me when I first walked in today? Yeah. So you got 8 leads and you connected with 4 of them, and they're, like, you never know when they're going to happen, right? They just pop, they just pop, they just pop. And so that's a great way to build future prospects. Okay, here are some pay-per-click ads that are really good that we used, and I'll share this with you too in our list. Drew back there, I put this up here if it's okay. She sends me a Slack and says, hey, love the price ranges of these new Google leads. Can you share what the ads are like? And I said, no, it's an ancient Chinese secret. Those young people don't know what that means, but. So here's some of the things that we use. Upscale homes with best views, top five homes, least expensive golf course homes, Scottsdale homes 20 or 30% below market. These are the ads that we run, the titles, the lists, and again, I'll share all these with you guys so you have them. So if you want to run some pay-per-click ads, or if you want to have the company that you're doing it, these are ones that have really converted for us really, really well. Okay, so the stick system, like this gentleman said he uses Infusionsoft, and I know, or Shebang, excuse me. Having a system that automatically connects with your buyers and sellers is so important. Like, I didn't communicate with you guys, my system did, right? So that's a stick system, and that's the system. I know it looks funky, I know it looks like brain damage, but it's not. It's actually pretty easy. I'll get through that. But it's a system that automatically sends emails, text messages, offers, so when I get a lead, I don't want to regenerate the lead, right? I already have the lead. I just want to identify, are you now business, are you future business, or are you no business? And this system does a really, really good job of that. It identifies those three things, because that's, I don't know about you, but when I was selling houses, I was spinning my wheels with people that looked like buyers, sounded like buyers, acted like buyers, but never bought. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? So anyway, so I didn't have this type of system to be able to help me with that. So. And Shebang does that, right, Jason? I mean, that's all. Yep. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, just more brain damage. And then video emails, obviously, connecting with people on video email is important. If you guys get an out-of-state buyer or somebody coming from out of town and you don't send them a video, a face to the name, and you just send them an email, it's easy for them just to delete that email. So what I tried to do when I was selling is I tried to do videos to people that made me more of a concierge. Hey guys, I know you're coming to town next week. Hey, my wife and I just tried this really cool restaurant down the street. Here's a link to that. And if you guys haven't picked a hotel yet, here's a really nice one in a great area. I wanted them to be sticky with me and go, that's my guy. I want to use him. So I tried everything I possibly could because I knew that they were probably talking to other people. So I'm going a little fast on this. Okay, so that's the shock and awe package. You guys have that, take a look at it. And I'll give you more information on those cards and the package if you guys decide you want to get that. It's really, guys can buy them in bulk. Okay, tracking and budget. Who does a good job of tracking? Anybody do a good job with budgeting and tracking? No, I didn't think so. I didn't either at one point. Michelle, when she started in 2003, created this spreadsheet, and I kind of expanded on it more and more and more, and I tracked my sales, I tracked my ROI, I tracked this is before, of course, all these systems do this, but this is the basic way just to track your business. I would put every sale up, I would put my commission, and then I would track if I was up or down based on my goals that I wanted to hit. Again, I'll share this with you. It's already, all the formulas are prepackaged, but there's some better ones. Do you guys ever do a volume breakdown? Like, hey, I want to make $1 million this year, and break it down by volume. How many buyers? How many days do you want to work in your business? How many hours do you want to work a day? How many sides are you doing? If I know that 65% of all the buyers I meet with will close, then I need to meet with X amount of buyers and have this many presentations. This is a really good spreadsheet. It's also in that download. So, and then we also did budgets. If you guys have never done a budget on how many homes you're going to sell, so I just did an example here. Here's 20 homes I want to sell, right? What I did is I looked at, of all the homes that sell in Phoenix, what percentage of all those homes close January, February, March, April, May, June, right? There's a percentage. And so I thought, well, it's only fair for me to budget based on the percentage of homes that close within that time frame. So if I'm going to sell 20, then guess what? 8.8% of my closings must happen in January, 7% happen in February, 6.9 happen in March, because that's generally what happens within the marketplace. Does that make sense? So I just said, okay, out of all 100,000 homes that close in Phoenix, what percentage, and I was surprised because you'd think that June, July, and August are kind of slow, and they're not. They're actually pretty good as a percentage of all the homes sold. So that's an easy spreadsheet. You guys can just put the number in, and it will automatically populate how many homes you have to sell. So this is telling me that if I'm going to do 20, I've got to do 1.6 in January, 1.5 in February, 1.3 in March, based on the percentage of homes that close. I beat that horse again, didn't I? Okay. Who's using CTE? Anybody using a CTE program? Okay, I love CTE. I think you might have told me about that years ago. You've used it for a long time, haven't you? My God, that is the best system. This guy's a genius. I mean, it's crazy. So CTE is a program that we use to manage our lead system through, on top of Infusionsoft and Shebang. But it's a phenomenal system that you don't have to do. All you do is load in your business. Okay, got a buyer. Here's the purchase price. Here's the close date, and it populates all these different kinds of reports. It is phenomenal. I'm not here to promote it, but that's what we use. It's called ctebiz.com, and it was a Keller Williams guy who had it. He made it. What's his name again? Kelvin. Kelvin. Yeah, he's such a he's super fast on responding.
The thing that's great about this too is that you're putting your goals, it tells you how you're tracking towards your goal. That's
Yep.
what generates all the automatic, how you're pacing, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so on here it's kind of hard to see, but this was our goal and this is where we're pacing. You can kind of see where our goal is and kind of where we want to hit. So yeah, it's really neat to be able to track that.
The other good thing is that this becomes your digital whiteboard. You can have a big second monitor. A lot of people use it with a big screen TV, so basically it becomes a digital whiteboard instead of a traditional whiteboard.
There's like 16 different tabs in there. I just pulled up 3, but there's so many different things. Yeah, you can see what's closing, what you have coming in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. It's great. And you can track all your costs. Very, very good. All right, I'm getting the wave down. So, all right, I think we're good. So what we're going to do, are we going to break? So let's do a 5 to 10 minute quick bathroom break. We're going to get our panel up. We're going to ask them some really good questions. And then we're going to break for lunch, right? These guys are so gracious. They did this on their own. They're not being paid. I am going to give them something very nice. Oh, sorry. I didn't tell you. No, you're not being paid. Yes. Oh, yeah, your gifts are behind you, by the way. So just so you know, I did get you guys a little gift. So, because I really appreciate you guys taking your time and effort and energy out of this, because this is really important, I think, for everybody to see and hear what, I'm tired of talking, so I want to hear these guys. What I talked to you today is different than what you might hear a little bit, but what I thought was really good is that these guys have been really successful in what they're doing, and I think it's really important as agents in this community. I know we all do panels, but sometimes I go to the panels and they're nibbling around the edges on the questions, and I'm like, no, I want to bite it. I want to know everything. I want to sit in front of I want to be in the room when Corinne's doing a listing presentation. I want to be in the room, just sitting back watching her. That's what I want to do. So that's what I'm trying to get today, and I think these guys are going to be really good at that. So, okay, enough of me babbling. All right, so first off, I'm just going to introduce them real quick so you guys all know who they are. Jason Mitchell, you guys all know who Jason Mitchell is, right? Jason Mitchell team. You guys are just, killing it. Are you guys in New Hampshire, Vermont? Where are you guys at now? Everywhere? Yeah, Dubuque, Iowa, right? Hey, I got to buy houses too. All right, and you guys all know Corinne Nguyen? Corinne Nguyen, give it up for her. Thank you. And then Eva Lynn is my guest from California. She is in Pasadena. Eva and Joe have been, I've been coaching them for the last 3 years, and so I thought she would be a great person to come up. So thank you so much, because I know this is not something you normally do, and you've never seen a cactus, evidently. So, yeah. They're called saguaros, not saguaros. Yeah. All the Canadian friends. Okay, and then Melanie Sanders, of course, give it up for her. You guys all know Melanie? Melanie's been in the business for a long time, and she is a wealth of information, and I'm really excited to have her answer some of these questions. Joe is the only one, because Joe, Eva's husband, is a super high C personality. He's the only one who sent me his answers. Actually, I think Melanie did a little bit too, but it was fully detailed. I love that about them. So anyway, all right, so I'm going to go through. I have 6 questions that I want to ask. And I may not ask each one of them. So if you guys hear a question that you want me to ask, or you want one of the panelists to answer, feel free. And I'm only doing this for the sake of time. We got about 45 minutes to an hour at the most. I want to get through the questions, and I want you guys to answer any or ask any questions. I feel like you guys are being slighted over here. I'm so sorry. So, but I want you guys to ask any questions that I don't answer, or I don't ask them. So, okay. So I'm going to start with Mr. Mitchell. What lead generation or marketing system have you recently decided to cancel, and why? And if you want to pass on the answer, we can. Other question? Yes?
For us, there's a lot of top funnel lead providers that that can work to your disadvantage when you think about it. And so I always look at quality of lead flow that we receive in order to determine not only our distribution methods, but also to determine the higher quality leads you get, the domino effect is so much more in your favor as a team leader in the sense of lower attrition, making sure that leads that, this is for team leaders obviously, and people that are distributing leads, buyer, broker side, listing side. But the better quality that you share up, the better talent you can have, and the more that your talent will stick with you. And so when you're purchasing stuff and the top of funnel stuff, and this is nothing against any of the organizations, but like the conversion of boomtowns and even Zillow top of funnel or Realtor.com top of funnel, as you start distributing those, and you're also distributing other quality, those leads can actually work against you because the wear-out ratio of those leads are high compared to when you're giving them to your agents. Eventually, if you hand out 1%, 2% closing leads to your team, they're going to essentially stop working with you because they're in this business to close deals. They're not in the business to continue to pound the phone, pound the phone, pound the phone, pound the phone, right? So as team leaders, we need to make sure that we're constantly looking for quality. Quality ensures a tight group of people and better talent and less attrition, which leads to everything. It leads to longevity on your team. So to me, it's looking at, it's constantly looking at where's the less quality coming from, and how much are we spending on that, and can we stop spending on that when we can, and try to secure more quality.
So on that answer, is that something you do on a regular basis? Like what time frame do you go back and go, okay, hey, this was converting really high, now it's kind of, poop the bed? Like, what do we use now?
Well, it depends, because if I can secure some other quality relationships with some other quality providers, then you can cut back. A lot of times your spend is top of funnel. So when you're spending on top of funnel leads, right, it's also going against you, whereas you can work channel accounts and relationships to try to show quality and cut that spend out, right? So I think it depends on where you come. And I would also say the last thing too, is that if you are getting a lot of top of funnel and you're not scrubbing before passing it to your agents, again, that is going to work against you. And so, if you're gonna dip your toes in the water and start spending that kind of money on ad spend and lead spend, you better go out and spend some money on an individual to scrub that stuff and send it through. Otherwise, again, your agents aren't going to work in anyway. It's a waste of money, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. We find that agencies that all the time they want them, but then they don't work them because they're busy or whatever. But yeah, I 100% agree. Okay, so Corinne, identify one or two things that you feel you really excel at in your business.
The one or two things, I think, one would be lead generation. I've done a really great job in my 15 years in the business, being able to generate more leads, which is probably why I'm also still here after 15 years. Another one would be pivoting. So I think in this business, it's one of the reasons that I love it, is that things change. It could be within a transaction, we think it's going to go a certain way, and you have to pivot and say, well, let's problem solve. How can we adapt and change to what's happening? It happens in market changes. It's happening right now in our industry. And so I think these are exciting times if we are good at pivoting and we look at that with the right way. And then the last one I would say is just helping people make money, helping people build a business, and making more money than they've ever made before. Because I think when you come into real estate, a lot of us don't understand that it is a business, and we don't get a class or get taught on how to run a business. We get, meets and bounds and how to calculate, square feet into acres, all these things that we use on a daily basis. And
the southwest corner of the southwest corner of the southwest corner. How come I remember
right,
that?
all the things that we probably Google if we needed to know that today anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's just really helping people become business people.
That's a good point. That's one of the things that I realized in doing this for, obviously you've been doing longer than I have, but thank you, sir, is the ability to actually have a business, and the idea for me, a business is, can I go live in San Diego for 3 months of the year when it's 128 degrees here, or Pasadena, and have my business grow, and have it consistently steady or grow without it falling apart. And that, I think, is a good definition of a business. All right, good point. So real quick though, what lead gen system are you using that you said you're really good at? What are you using? What are you doing really well with?
Well, lead generation, we're doing really well with open house. And so
Awesome.
I think a lot of agents look at that as it's a buyer tool only. And we actually look at that as you can gain a lot of listing leads if you're open for those opportunities. And I loved everything that Jay shared because it almost mirrors identically what we do for a lot of open house, as far as the walk-on videos, the advertising. There's a few little things that we do in addition to that though. One of them would be holding other houses open. And what I mean by that is if I have an open house on this street, you know, I know that a lot of the people that come into that house aren't going to want to buy that house. And so I'm going to look for 2, maybe 3 other properties in the neighborhood. Maybe they're occupied, maybe they're vacant, doesn't matter. And I'm going to preset showings and let them know, hey, I'm Corinne over at the Corinne team at Keller Williams. I'm actually holding your neighbor's home open over on 125 Vantage Street. And what I know is that as fabulous as their home is, not everybody that comes in is going to actually be interested in this home. And so I was wondering if I see that your home could possibly meet their needs, would it be okay that I bring them by? Again, the open house is Saturday from 11 to 2. Would that be okay with you? And if it's with the agent, I have the conversation with the agent, that's fine. And so I'm presetting that and I'm bringing people. So number one, I'm going to solidify the relationship that I have with those buyers because I'm taking them out. I'm being more valuable than them just coming into another open house and not getting to go see other properties. And also with that seller, that's impressive because I might be bringing more buyers to the home than their own listing agent. Because I know when somebody gets upset with us, sometimes they can say, well, you didn't bring a buyer. They expect us to double end the listing and be the one to sell the house. So I'm also making an impression on those sellers. And we've actually picked up listings, that have expired or where they fired their agent, and we've gotten that listing. So
it's hustle. They're seeing you hustle. They're seeing what you're doing, and it's pretty cool. They're like, well, my agent's not bringing any buyers. That's pretty cool. I love that. That's a great idea.
If there's one other little tidbit that I could share for the room too on open house. The other piece is I think a lot of us like to use the crutch of having a sign-in sheet. And one of the things that we do really different is that I am a big advocate of not having a sign-in sheet, and we want to capture their information because a lot of times they're going to lie and not put the right information anyway.
Yep.
And so we use our text system, our text to lead system, and with that system, when somebody comes in, they're out looking at other houses. They're going to other open houses. People we talk about signs. Most people don't want to call signs. And I'm a believer that they'll actually go online. If you make it difficult to get the information and you try to funnel them just to the number, I don't think they're going to call us. I actually think they're just going to go to Zillow or somebody else's website. And so we set them up and I'll say, oh, okay, great. Are you using our text app? You don't have that set up. Let me get you set up with that. What's your phone number? This app is incredible because you can text any house. It doesn't have to be one of my listings. And you can get immediately the price. You can get several photos. You can find out the details of the home all at the curbside. And you never have to talk to an agent. Let me show you how it works. What's your phone number? And I'm going to type that in while they're standing right there, and they're going to immediately be in my system, and I'm going to have the correct phone number because they're standing hip to hip with me, so they're not going to think I gave the wrong number. And now I also have geo-tracking. Anytime they look at another house, whether it's my listing or not, I get a notification that says they looked at that house. So that would be another one I do that we do.
I love that.
We need to capture.
Every time I go into someplace and they ask me to sign in, it's that law of reciprocity. I'm like, well, what did I get? Yeah, I love the fact, I used to do the same thing too. I just kind of used to, at the end, like, oh, here's my card. Oh, by the way, do you have one? And they'd be like, oh, no, here's my number. But I love that idea. That's a great idea.
I don't even have business cards.
Right,
I don't
okay.
have business cards. People say, why do you have business cards? I got a really high execs number the other day because I didn't have a business card. And I was like, I'm in the business of capturing information and following up. What's your information? And I got their information. And
Great
still
point.
like crutch giving out the cards.
That's the point on that too. We've all been to these open houses. You go in and somebody will hand you a Plano and say, it's 2,300 square feet, take a look around, let me know if you have any questions. They go sit back on their desk
Yep.
and then that's it. Like, what are you doing? Why are you even doing an open house? Well, what you said is really critical, and that is so for example, I use this to my team all the time. I said, if I go in to a jeans store to go buy a pair of jeans, and I'm looking at jeans, and the sales rep comes up and says, can I help you? My immediate answer is no. However, they come up and said, you looking for jeans today? Yes, obviously. We got a new pair in yesterday. They're brand new. I think they would look killer on you. Hold on one second. Let me go get them. And she brings them out and hands them to me. You need to try these on. These are going to look awesome on you. I have to try those on. Right? Same thing there. When you say, what's your best email? I'll send you a few, meaning a few listings. What's your best email? I'll text it to you. They have to give it to you or it's super awkward.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, it's not what you say, it's how you say it in this business. And those differences in what you say will be the world of difference to the information that you get when you do these open houses.
Love it. That's awesome stuff. Okay, Miss Eva, how are you?
Good.
You just flew in this morning. I really appreciate that. So what lead generation or marketing, I'm sorry, no, I already asked that question, sorry. Why would somebody choose to do business with you versus any other agent? What's your value proposition to them? Like why would I not use, I'm not going to say a name, somebody else in your marketplace?
I think one is our USP. I'll sell your home for 100% of asking price or I'll pay you the difference. That's our USP. And that immediately sets me apart from all of the other agents in the area. And that is number one. And then also what we do is that every time we have a listing, we send out the seller bomb, which is Jay's portfolio. So that again, just immediately, there's a lot of really good information that basically give them an overview of what it's like working with me. So we do all of that before I even meet with them. So when I meet with them, it's already pre-sold. It's like 80% sold, and it's just about whether I connect with them.
So you use the pre-sale package?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't call it bomb anymore. I was told not to use that word. So I'm like, all right.
I still say.
Chalk it on. Yeah. So you weren't here, but we actually played your video, your landing page, just to kind of show what it was. Yeah, that was really good. So you send out that
Yeah.
you get them to raise their hand, you set them up, then they call you and they go, hey, what is this 100% of asking price thing?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, by the way, yeah, ask questions as we're going, guys. This isn't just we're going to do it at the end. Do it during anytime you want.
Text to lead, what system are you using?
Yeah, so the system that we use is called Quickly. It's KWKLY. And I speak and teach a lot, so if you do sign up for that system, you can actually text my name, CARIN 50 to, I need to double check the number, 59559. And that will give you half of the setup fee off and the first month free. And it runs $99 a month for unlimited properties. Yeah, it's Quickly, KWKLY.
KWKLY?
Yeah, it's not a KW product, so it's just weird it starts with KW, but it's
I love the products.
called Quickly.
Remember all that. All right, good. Miss Melanie. I'm going to ask you. You're like, oh, that's the, here it is. All right, what do you feel has been your best marketing pillar from an ROI standpoint in the last 12 months?
Well, I'm a little different.
Working in, my feet don't touch the bottom of my chair.
Anyway, the best ROI I have is my people, because I'm doing a little different from what, maybe not Jason or some, but I'm doing some developer business, so we do a lot of, we have models, people come to our models, so people are my best ROI. If I spend the time educating them, and again, a lot of people in this panel are talking open house. I'm huge on open house. Everything I do is open house every day. My 25 years in the new home business is about open houses every day, so I believe in them fully. So right now, the biggest value I can do is working with the agents, making sure they're trained on the critical path so that they agree, qualify, demonstrate, cite, and close when people walk in the door. And then we do a ton of open houses. That's free. I'm all about free. I've been doing this for over 30 years, but if I can do something free, and think about it, to answer your question though, Sync is probably my best return on investment as far as lead generation.
Commission Sync, okay.
But again, people but only if you work it. It's got a great
Sound
override when we work it. It doesn't when we don't work it effectively. But if I take the time to work with the agents, and I have half my team here over here, they're incredible, and they work the open houses and take advantage of the people coming in, not only the open houses at our models, but also at the communities or out in the field with one of our listings. We agents spend so much money, time, and effort trying to get a buyer in front of a buyer seller, right? What better way than to go somewhere? I want people to come to me. I don't want to work with anybody that doesn't want to work with me. So what better way to sit somewhere, pick a great open house, or great models if you have opportunity to do that, and let them come to you. So then when they get there, you need to know what to do. You can't just be a stick in the mud, you can't smell bad, you gotta look good, all those different things. And you have to have a presentation. I'm big on presentations. All these major builders are. They don't just hire people to sit in those chairs like you think they do. And they have to have a whole presentation and a sequence and a critical path in order to convert those. That's an easier way for us to convert than even to just sit on Sync and call leads all day. We want to get in front of those people, and if you do a good job when they're there, you're going to convert them. So that's my best All right.
So I would say sync and then your channel accounts, which is your builders, right? And that's really where it's doing well. Anybody doing builders right now? Anybody working with developers at all? Okay. If you guys want to know about that, Melanie's really good at that. So, okay, Jason, back to you. Any questions for the panelists so far? I've got 3 more questions I'm going to ask them. Otley.
I just had a quick question for Melanie. When you say presentation, are you talking about your value proposition presentation and you're doing that at the open house? Or are you talking about a presentation on the property itself?
It's, you know, coming from 25 years in new home business, we get trained on sales. Resale agents mostly do not get trained on sales, right? We learn how to do paperwork, do an 8-hour class, go get them. And so the builders have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on training these new home agents that sit behind a desk. All they really have to do is get up and do their presentation. I'm talking about an actual planned critical path of sales process where it's you greet them, you qualify them, you demonstrate them, you cite them, and then you close them. And we're trained on that for years. And then we're videotaped and we're shopped, you know, hidden shops and all that. We got fired over it. And then I was a VP, and so then I fired people over it. So it was very important that people did it. So it's actually a path to sales. It's not so much a value proposition like we hear in so much in resale, but it does work very effectively for open houses too. It's a process, and I'd be happy to pass to email out to Jay so he can send anybody who wants this information about how that works. It's what questions to ask, how you get their name, how you may get their information if you want to get that information, how you do quickly determine if they're an actual buyer or not. And if a group comes, you know, you're at an open house and nobody's there for hours, and sure enough, 4 people come in at the same time, how do you determine who you're going to work with and how do you do it quickly? And so in new homes, we get very good at that. And so it's a way you can, you know, like, who's buying a home today? You're not, you're looking at decorating, okay, I shift over here. So it's a real process, and if you do it correctly, you will have a much better chance, a higher conversion rate at the end. But I'll be happy to share those questions and how you walk through those processes.
So was your question more about, like, do you do a listing presentation?
No, that was exactly.
Okay, all right, good. Well, that leads me to another question. I didn't ask you guys this, but who show of hands, who actually does a full, like, a systemized listing presentation? Okay, I find that's probably the case. I think some of us do this, like, fly by the seat of our pants type stuff, like, you know, my charisma and character is going to win this listing. So I'm going to ask you guys this, and Jason, I'll ask you this. Do you guys use a listing presentation? Like, how do you get it? Like a full-blown, whatever it is. And I think that's important. I think that, for me, when we first started, Michelle and I knows this, when we first started, we were just like, hey, we're just going to play the husband-wife thing, right? They work us and, you know, talk to her. I'm going to, you know, sit back and let them talk. But then we got better and better and better at it. And we really perfected our listing presentation to where I felt really comfortable going into a listing because I knew what I was going to talk about. And as you guys can clearly see, I like to talk. I get down this road of, you know, conversation, and she's like, hey, you know, like she's doing now, right? She's like, hey, let's go. So anyway, so that's a good idea. So obviously, if you guys don't have one, I think it's really important to have one. Okay, Jason, if an agent only has $1,000 a month to spend on growing their business, what would you advise them to spend it on?
This is the quintessential Jay Macklin question, the $1,000 question. I love it. I always have the same response. It's a person.
Yeah.
And whether you start them part-time or whatever you do, because honestly, nobody can replace the value of a human being, especially somebody that wants to grow with you. And I mean, that's what it is, especially doing the grind work. You know, you guys, if you're going to be business owners and grow your business, you can't be doing the small things. You have to be prospecting. You have to be business development. We use the word prospect a lot in this business, but you know, people are like, yeah, I'm having coffee and prospecting. Like, that's not prospecting. Prospecting is meeting with people that can give you an opportunity to grow your business at a high level. That's prospecting. So stop thinking yourself as prospectors and think yourself as business development experts. That's what it is. And so, you know, if your children are in soccer, getting involved with them, church, I mean, anything, CPAs, divorce attorneys, I mean, anybody that can be within your sphere, get in front of them. But when you get in front of them, have a plan. I started this, I don't know, 8 years ago I got back into the business, 8 years ago. And in 8 years, we are where we are now. And we'll do close to $500 million in sales with about 55 agents this year. And I started on the ground, just me. But what I did when I started going after these accounts is I had a plan put together. In that plan, because I didn't have any money really, the plan then was, I'll cross-market for you. Every email I send out, every postcard I send out, everything I do, I'm going to cross-market to you. Let me show you what I can do to try to help you. And then I ask for the business in return. And I built my relationships that way. It's always about them first. So when you go there, go with a plan to help somebody. And then you'll be shocked what the human kindness can do by showing you a way that they can return the favor to you, and that's how you build relationships.
Corinne, I think I'm going to ask you the same question. Like, if an agent had $1,000, what would you advise them to spend it on?
I wrote down part-time assistant.
Part-time assistant?
Yes, that's really, it's the same answer. If there's anything
Okay.
I want to add to what Jason said though, it would be, a lot of times we'll say, well, I can't afford that person yet, but we might say we could afford to buy, sync or leads, or we feel that justification a little bit differently. And one of the best things I ever did for my business was a part-time assistant for 2 reasons. Number one, as agents, we don't love to lead generate, right? It is where we face the most rejection. And so we will find anything and everything else to do besides get belly to belly with people. And we'll do all this non-productive work. And so when you have somebody, you kind of negate that excuse. It's like, well, I'm paying this person, I have to give this person the work, and it forces me to go out and do what I'm supposed to be doing. And if you don't love to be face-to-face with people and lead generate, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
It's not, sitting behind the desk and trying to figure out the next Facebook ad. And the second piece to that is it's high accountability, because when you become responsible for somebody else's income, you will go out there and you will work your tail off to do whatever it takes, because you never want to be the one that lays somebody off. And so it's just the best form of accountability. I mean, I think a coach is awesome, but the accountability of being responsible for somebody's livelihood and income, all the people in this room for sure have that level of integrity. You are going to do what it takes. And so I think those two things combined are why that is absolutely the first thing that you should do with your $1,000.
That's a good point. Anyway, thoughts on that? Anybody have ideas,
Can I add to that?
questions? Yeah. I'm asking you too, so.
Good.
Yeah.
I better question is, what can you do for if you have 0? I think. Okay, so many people, whether they're reinventing themselves again years later, I started my career in resale just 10 years ago after 25 years in new homes. And I was used to the big company paying all my bills, my marketing, my everything. All of a sudden went from five groups and 100 agents to just me. And so the first thing, I did a couple of things well, and I did a lot of mistakes, but the best thing that you could do wherever you're at your business is evaluate, first of all, free stuff. Who are you working for? Who are you working with? The people that you're around. Go get your good team, they're free. Find your best lender, your best title company, any agents that want to work with you. But then also the brokerage. I wasted many years on a brokerage that, again, just because I knew a lot about new homes, knew nothing about resale, didn't even know how to write a contract. So spent so much time and money doing direction from somebody that never sold a home. Great business person, but had never sold a home. So if I had it to do again at 0, I could get really far with no money, just by great partners. Leverage them as much as you can, and some people don't even realize how much you can leverage them. They can help you with the postcards, they can help you with this and that. But also, like all this stuff with, I'm not really trying to tout Jay, but he is incredibly good. I work with him now. I didn't work with him at first. I work with him now. But get a brokerage who shares all this stuff. And by the way, I pay a lot of money for this stuff. I'm on the same coaching team, and he gives it to all of y'all free. So, he gives it to all of you free. Anyway, but you get this stuff free. Like if I'd had all this free up front and could just copy it and paste it, I would have been so much more years ahead and not wasting so much money doing branding ads, which I already knew from the builder, doesn't work. So anyway, utilize all the free stuff first, and then surround yourself with the very best people. And that's going to get you much further than having to pay for anything.
Eva, what about you? What's your thoughts? If somebody had $1,000 to spend, what would you advise them on?
I think what they said was fantastic. When I first started, the bold leads was where it took me off the ground. I don't know if you guys are familiar with bold leads. I think it's like $200 a month, seller leads, and they are great leads, except it takes a while. It takes about 6 months to convert. So you get a lot of that, especially when I first signed up with them, which was about 4 years ago, the leads were a lot better. And my first year return on bold leads was maybe 5 times. I mean, like maybe I spent 5,000 and I made 30, 35, so that's 7 times. So, you know, something like that where it just gives me the leads to start calling and for sellers hosting an open house, which ended up getting more leads. So that's what I did.
Okay.
You're seller leads, right?
Yes, seller leads.
Seller leads, yeah. All right. Bold, B-O-L-D.
Yeah, BOLD. Yeah.
Okay, so so those are my questions. I can go on more, but I think we're cut a little short on time, so I want to open up to you guys. Any questions you guys have here?
Go back to ROI, talking about no money, advertising. We get solicited out here, single agents, you know, I can do this for you, you know, this company, I'll get you 10 leads, 20 leads, 30 leads a month, and you'll continually be bombarded by this, and then we'll sign up for something, you do a 3-month gig with them, you look at the ROI, and the first month is like zip. The second month, you get a little bit, you know, 4 or 5 leads, oh, we're gonna get you better, you know, on and on. How long do you put up with it? What should we see?
I think the first thing you gotta ask yourself though too, this business, guys, I mean, I can't tell you, Jay's the king at it as well, and that Jay and I are very, very similar when it comes to running a business because it's ran on efficiency. And so, if you're gonna buy these leads, you better have the right script. If you're gonna hire a dialer, you better prepare the script for them and not hope that you just put them in a chair and hope that they succeed. Everything you do in this business has to be calculated and it has to be set up. So before you spend money, before you spend time, set up the success, right? Leads, it depends on, look, anything can work if you grind at it, right? It's a matter of, does it fit your model? Does it fit what you're looking for? If a lead comes in and you don't have the right drip and prospecting and everything else that follows it, especially nowadays, forget it, they're gone. They're on another website, like you are ancient history to them. Because the next website they go on, there's 3 of you right in front of them again, okay? So they better like you. When you call them, you better have something to say. You better have something to say that's relevant. You better have something to say that's not about real estate. When you're prospecting, it is not about the house. It is about you and you only. Even when you're doing open houses, stop talking about the house. In fact, honestly, this is crazy, and I always thought I was going to get caught, but I like to actually talk smack about the house I'm sitting because I want them to leave there, and I want them to say that's the only one that was honest with me and said that this house is way overpriced. I mean, it's crazy, but you know what? If it was true, I'd tell them it was true because they're going to see 7 agents that day. And those 7 agents are going to ask them all these probing questions about a home. Why are you moving? Do you like this house? Do you like the kitchen? How about the master? You don't like the backyard? They didn't talk about them. They don't talk about their lifestyle. They don't talk about their children that are with them. They don't talk about the fact that they came in biker shoes and gear and talk about where'd you bike today? Oh, really? Great, yeah, I've been up there before myself, blah, blah, blah. Everything but the house. But when I'm honest and I tell them, you know what, I wouldn't buy this house either. I think it's way overpriced. I don't know the sellers, but I wouldn't either. There's much better out there. I'm the only one that said that to them that day. And they remember that stuff, guys. It's about the person. So when you make those initial calls, and we can laugh and joke about what I'm saying here, but the point is this, is that it is about the person. Develop a relationship with the person on the phone. Talk about things besides the house. Just talk about them. You'd be shocked what you come up with. And you know you have to be the best. You don't have to have the best listing presentation. All they have to do is like you and trust you. And then when you leave there, even if you don't have the numbers to back it up, you say, listen, Mr. Jones, all I can promise you is this. I will work harder for you than anybody that you will meet with. You have my word. And you look him in the eye and you say it. And you'd be shocked what the results are. It's that simple.
The honesty approach, right? For the love of God, please buy this house. I love it. All right, any questions? Nick's got a question. Your tensions on today.
Earlier, when we were asking Eva, you were saying that what makes you stand apart from other agents is your USP. That's you from the other 63,000 agents in Arizona. What about you from the top 500, you from the top 100, who all have USPs, who all know that stuff? What separates you from the high-performing agents? And I guess my question is, for the 4 of you, if I have let's say I have a $50 million property and I want to sell right now, why should I list with you? Like right then and there, I have 4 agents in front of me and I want to know why should I list with you? Because I want to know why from a high-value broker from a high value agent, why should I list with you?
How much real estate do you sell a year? It's my only house, that's it. What's that?
It's my house, let's say it's that, it's my house, my $50 million house.
No. But let's take money aside. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to, but you know, everyone's. First of all, you got to find your niche, okay? But I will say this, especially for a lot of people in the room. Like, if you're not at 30, 40, $50 million in production, then the only thing that you should ever be concerned about is units. Units build your book. Units lead to higher dollar amounts. We've all started at $100,000 and $150,000 deals, running. And then
I'm still there.
She's just doing a whole bunch of units.
But it's true. Worry about the units and the volume will come. It's just like in bowling. Pick up your spares and strikes will come.
I think they call it, when I was a coach, when I was playing hockey in Michigan, my coach used to say, because I could never, my slap shot was just brutal. And he's like, he always used to say, oh God, I just had to take my tongue. Don't focus on the end result, focus on the success. It was basically on the process. It was surrender the end result to the process. I think that's exactly what it meant. So I'm just like, okay, just keep, just do. So it's a good point. It's a really good point. And I think that's really interesting because I think what Nick was saying is that what he's looking for is to give me a nugget to say, hey, I do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And I think in that price range, I think it's going to be really relationship if you guys work in that. It's not going to be, I do. Yeah, it's going to be really big relationships, and I don't necessarily sell in that particularly large price range, but
Just say it's 500,000. What would
Yeah.
they say? What would the
I
agent
think
say?
just to add to that conversation, I think the honesty, a couple people have said it a few different ways, but I think something that all of us could have as a USP, which wouldn't make it a USP, but I know most of us won't go out and do it either, and most agents don't, is I don't know if I'm the right person. I need to find more about what your goals are. And I need to understand more about what you're trying to achieve and accomplish in order to determine if I am actually the right agent to get your home sold. And so that's going to differentiate me because I think most agents go in of like, I need to sell a house. So I just need to, going back to the presentation conversation, we have these pre-designed presentations, and we threw our presentation away and completely went to a consultation last year because I just think that the industry has changed, and we used to tout, our ego would say, everybody wants to get the highest net. Hey, guess what? 10% of our business in Phoenix and Metro Phoenix actually was done by iBuyers. iBuyers don't net the highest price. And so we need to actually pivot, I think, in our industry. It might not be the popular thing to say, but it's more going back to, hey, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? What's most important to you? Because if it's convenience, I need to pivot over here and say, well, great. In that case, I actually have a program I can get your house sold in 7 days, and you don't have to deal with agents, and maybe that's what you want to do. Let's look at that. Okay, you want to do the highest net? Okay, great. Here's my marketing program for that. But my USP is actually going to be, like, I'm 5 years old. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to ask what's most important to you, and I'm going to do that in every single situation, and then I'm going to make it completely about them. And I'm going to ask them, why is that important to you? Because we only give a surface level answer the first time we're asked that. And I'm really going to draw out the emotion, and I'm more of the new belief that real estate, we're not selling a house. When somebody walks into the house, we're not like, ooh, look at this new Wolf refrigerator, and this microwave. They don't care. The house is going to sell itself. If they like the house, they're going to buy the house. What we're doing is we're trying to educate, be a fiduciary to the clients, and we need to find out what's most important. So I think we're more in a business of psychology and really being crystal clear about what's most important to them. So when they get buyer's remorse, we can say, hey, remember, your dad is, you need to get closer to your dad. We don't know how many more years he has left. You said it's important to be close to family. So, this $5,000 offer is a little lower. However, should we consider that so we can get you closer to your dad? And they're going to go, oh yeah, that's right. We should do that. But I'm going to be really clear on the psychology piece and what's important to them. And that is going to be all I need as far as the USP.
Become a student of human nature. I gotta tell you, that's amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So, yeah. Do you want to add that now? Oh, okay. Well, you're doing that. I was going to add something.
Me and Nick is going to be working with me, sharp young man right there. I've maybe had 2 hours with him so far. But you demonstrate your value. You're going to show your value. Your one quick thing isn't going to make the difference. It's you're going to get in front of them, and then you're going to razzle and dazzle with everything that you're going to do for them. And then ultimately it's going to come down to trust. I look them in the eye and typically just assume I'm getting the listing, and that they'd be foolish not to use me because I know I'm going to work harder than anybody else. I'm as much or more knowledge than most folks, and I have statistics to prove it. But even if I didn't have statistics to prove it, I could use the company statistics. There's different ways. But ultimately, they're going to pick you because they trust you, they like you, you build rapport with them, and then you show them you can do the job. So you demonstrate and show the value.
Plus you have Southern draw, which is really, really nice.
You've got our own vocabulary.
Y'all can. Frank?
My question is for you, Jason, but Corinne, I just wanted to tag off something you said regarding hiring an assistant. And I'll never forget, back in the day, I met the #1 agent in Alabama, and she was 79 years old. And I remember talking to her, and I said, what can I do to take my business to the next level? And I'll never forget it. She said, Frank, do you have an assistant? And I said, no. And she goes, well, just remember one thing. If you don't have an assistant, you are an assistant. I'll never forget that. And I'm telling you, there's nothing more true than that statement. And so
That's how I have a director of operations, because Gary Keller told me that. He was like, well, sweetheart, you are the director of operations. I said, burn.
Anytime anybody asks me that question, I tell them that story, and I think it sticks with. Jason, real quick, the one thing I wanted to ask you was, back in the day, I was always big on my presentation and listings and whatnot, and so I would always send out, especially if I didn't get a listing, I would send out a questionnaire. And I didn't get a listing, and it blew me away because I walked out of this particular listing going, man, I told them how great it was. I had this dynamic listing presentation. You know, how in the world did I not get that listing? And on my questionnaire, it came back and it said, Frank, you're obviously a fantastic agent, but you spent about 3/4 of your presentation telling me about you and your company, and about 1/4 of the presentation talking to me about the valuation of my house and whatnot. And he said, for future reference, I would recommend that you maybe turn that around. So what I did was I started going in and saying, guys, my listing presentation is 2 parts. One is all about your property. The second part is what I can do for you. I'll take your lead. Which one would you like me to address first? And I would say probably 90% of them would say, let's talk about the house first. Let's find out if we're on the same page valuation-wise, and then let's talk about what you can do for me. Do you find that when you go into a listing presentation that you're more effective if you talk about the property first, or do you mix it in, valuation with what we can do for you, or how do you, what's your, I know everybody's style is different, but how do you do that?
I would say that I kind of start where you start, and I talk about, I really let them lead. I want to talk about goals. I want to talk about your goals. Why are we doing this? What is the best scenario outcome for you? And kind of get that down. What are we looking to accomplish here, right? And then talk about the home itself and some of the things that, some of the challenges we're going to have. Because to me, one of the things is, and I don't want to take a listing right now if I don't think I can sell it. That's just bottom line, right? And but I think really, again, discussing goals with the client and what they are looking to accomplish and what you can do on your end to help service them, right? You're not going to win them all. And even the person that gave you that report back, everyone's a critic too. You go to your question with the USP. My USP isn't selling me any more houses than, I'll lose to Walt, I'll lose to Jaffe, I'll lose out, and I'm sure they lose out to me too. It's just a matter of you have the connection with the client and do they like you. And so, but I really let the client lead that, what do you guys want to talk about today? And I kind of go from there. I always preface, listen, I can bore you with a lot of these numbers and everything else. But if you want to go see that information, you can easily go online and read everything you need to read about us. I'm not an ego guy. I don't like talking about that. I don't like talking about it out loud. I don't like talking about it to anybody here. And I don't like to talk about it to clients and consumers. If you want that information, you can go out there and find it, or you can just read it, right? So I don't talk about that a whole lot. We talk about some of our marketing, our digital campaigns, or strategies, what we try to do to accomplish what their goals are. And then it's really about them. It really is. I get into right away, I'm assuming that listing. I'm assuming, okay, now I have a question for you. Once we get our photos and tours done, what is the showing instruction? When are you available to allow me to show this? And then are already placing themselves in the mindset that oh, okay, yeah, well, you can show it in these days or whatever. Like, I'm constantly assuming the sale if I'm touring somebody on the buy side, and I'm assuming the listing when I'm sitting there. I'm always assuming, but I'm placing myself in that position because they're going to be there with me at some point. So they're already thinking about it. I'm trying to get them in the mode of when I call you to schedule, when's your best availability? What time frame do you need? What hour window do you need? We're not going to, if it's an expensive listing, just so you know, we're not going to use a lockbox, obviously. Right? We're going to be showing this in person. We'll be here a half hour early. I'm talking about the process of what's to come so they can kind of put their mindset where we'll be.
And I think the pre-listing package kind of, if you do a pre-listing package, then you don't have to sit there and talk about, here's all of this stuff. And for the people that that's important to, they will have already looked through that with a fine-tooth comb. And the rest of them, it's not that important, so you're just not going to spend that time on it.
Yeah, there's two scenarios when you get the listing presentation, or the listing package when you get to the house. It's either still in the FedEx box, not open, or it's completely open and highlighted, dog-eared, and you're like, all right, now I know where we're going. So, yeah, good point. Ephraim.
Okay.
Okay, is this guy's name the coolest? Ephraim General. Is that a cool name?
For the agents that do need to scrub, would you suggest any dialers, like the lead generators? Do you have any suggestions of where you could go if you're on a budget for a dialer?
They're all pretty cheap.
So I'm going to say something before I give it to Jason, and that is, we have been using Mojo since I started the team. And I have a really great friend in a different part of the country, and she stopped using the dialer, and her contact rate went through the roof. And so we just started this, we're only 7 days in, of pausing on using a dialer and actually going back to manual dialing. And here's why, because there are a lot of cell phone companies that actually can recognize that their dialer's calling, and so it will come up and say scammer and all of these strange things. So it is something to kind of consider. I don't have to, if you want to email me in 30 days, I'll give you more information, but it's more of, I think, just taking the data and just calling manual dial right now.
Yeah, we actually, just to add to that, we actually stopped at about 6 months ago, and you guys noticed the appointment rate has gone way up, and the connection rate. So our connection rate was well lower than 10%, now it's considerably higher because of that.
Because you're not importing into a Mojo dialer and
We're just
dialing
doing
away.
single dials. You reduce the number of obvious dials your ISAs can make, obviously on a daily basis, but your connection rate goes way up. I don't know if you guys don't tap, you guys review that.
That wasn't even my question, but I'm so glad that I got answered actually. It was really good. I was asking for an ISA on a budget, who would you suggest going to? I've tried Outdesk, but is there any way that you guys kind of do it, or you guys have it in-house kind of? You want to be right there making sure this person's nurturing the way that you would be nurturing?
We've tried my Outdesk and some of the other ones, and for us, in-house is better.
Right.
The other piece that I would say is that, can you train them? Because if you can't show them what to do and you just think you're going to hire somebody and they're going to be better at that than you are, that's going to be tough, because I feel like this is one of the last jobs we should ever give away in the business is the conversion of lead generation. But then once you get to that point, it'll be happening hip to hip. I do it, you watch me do it, we do it, and then you do it. That's kind of the method of training before we pass it on.
Thanks, guys.
Something I've been struggling with is do I take my business to a team? Is it necessary? As a solo agent, after 7 or 8 years, I did get to about the 20 million mark, about $500,000 GCI. Feels really great. And the trade-off is what's the best advice to grow into the team where I'm not necessarily doing the work? I'm feeling like it's hard to get over that hump to incorporate people so that I can continue to do the same level of business myself or income for myself instead of, obviously have to do more volume. Everybody else, it's a whole different dynamic for having a team trying to make $500,000 GCI versus doing it all myself. So what's the best advice to make that hurdle?
I can tell you this, I don't care how much money you make. It's a matter of can a team make you more?
Scalable.
Right? I mean, look, a team has to add value to whatever you're currently doing. They just have to add to it. And that's the problem where a lot of team leaders screw up. They just take anybody. They recruit, and they just bring on anybody. Well, what value does that add to your agents if you're in the business of agent recruiting? As you continue to grow your team and you continue to become more successful, you should be able to continue to up your talent pool. And if you have a situation where now you have a lot of talented people, you have good systems and great brand, reputation, and the ability to extend marketing far beyond what you can do, then there's something there. As long as you can create a favorable comp plan in your favor and the team can add to what you're doing. But there's an ego thing involved with that I find that a lot of agents can't get over. You know, like Lisa Roberts is a great friend of mine. A lot of you guys know her in the business, and she's kind of like my little mentee. She always has been. She's phenomenal. She's one of the best agents in the state. She's always like poking around at that idea because she wants to try to grow and get better, and she probably does 45, 50 million a year. But it's the ego thing that hits a lot of agents, like, oh, I'm doing 15, 20 million a year. I don't need to grow a team. I want to start my own team. Well, look, I say this in the lending world too. Your best LOs end up opening their own branches. Well, just because you're a great loan officer doesn't mean that you're a great operator. And just because you're a great realtor doesn't mean you're a great operator either. Sometimes you're just a great realtor. Sometimes you're just really good at selling. But if a team can add to what you're doing and truly help you scale your business and take a lot of the onus off what you're doing, from setting up the listings, ordering the sign, ordering the photos, and putting a great system in place, putting a great brand in place, giving opportunity for great high quality leads, like whatever it is that you're looking for, then it shouldn't be about ego. The only thing that matters is the check. That's all that matters.
So you're saying even producing that much versus potentially joining a team instead of actually trying to build a team?
Depends on what you want to do. You know, we have...
What do you want to do?
Yeah, what do you want? I mean, well, it's a matter of what your goals are. I mean, do you want to grow a team?
I don't necessarily want to manage people.
Well, then I would grow a team.
And you don't want to own a brokerage.
And you don't want to own a brokerage. But if you find yourself stuck, then yeah, you got to raise your hand and say, what am I doing? Because I'm not getting there. And people, like good quality teams out there can support that. But man, I would dig and interview and make sure that team fits the mold. I really would. Because there's a lot of different value props out there.
If I could just add something else also. I think a lot of us think it's always about money, but the other piece too is we see this touted in our industry a lot. I work 7 days a week and I work until this time at night. And so there could be a trade-off, right? If you're making that type of volume and that type of income, do you want to get some time back? Would you be okay if your income stayed the same, but you got more hours? Would you be okay if your income, went down a little bit and you got a lot of hours back? Do you want your income to grow? So I think to Jason's point, you just need to be clear on what it is that you want, and then be very diligent when you're interviewing teams to make sure they can help you attain that, because I do believe that you can make more money on a team. The net, right? It's the net conversation, and I think the ego has us look at the percentages, but we're not looking at the actual net dollar.
I think this is a good.
I think of a perfect example for you. I've been wanting to hire a buyer's agent for the last 3 years, and I still haven't found one because we have such a high standard. I'm still the only producer in my team, and I work less than 30 hours a week. And last year we did 47 million. So, and I just had a baby. So it's like. It's not really about adding another agent to your team. Our profit is extremely high, again, because we run a really tight ship. So it's really about, if you are the only agent, you just need to make sure that your assistants are high performers in your team, and that they will add more value to you, so that you don't work as much as a result.